Mama, we made it. What it do though?
My God. This is absolutely gorgeous. You feel me?
We've been vibing for hours.
This is absolutely gorgeous. Do you feel me? I think every one of us needs to take a moment of silence. First and foremost, we lost a legend today that will never die, Tupac Amaru Shakur, on this day. Second of all, we about to go through the cafeteria line with our brothers TiRon and Ayomari, and I'm so hyped. So everybody, let's take one moment of silence. Are you ready? And we back.
Man, we here.
Gentlemen, it is a fucking absolute honor to have y'all on.
Man.
This is so special. Like, words can't even describe this moment. I'm being dead ass right now. You know what I mean? Welcome.
Man, thank you for having us.
Yeah.
Both of y'all, man.
Yeah,
thank y'all.
for real.
I love what y'all doing, man. Y'all killing it.
Love.
Thanks, man. Thanks.
As have y'all been. You know what I'm saying? Let's be real.
I appreciate it.
This is, but like, I wish people could feel the energy in this room right now. Like, it is literally magnificent and just fucking like Magnus Van Magnuson, fucking humongous, just enormous right now. You like me trying to find that? Like, I was like, where?
humongous.
I literally was like, Noosh, where in the fuck are you going?
Alpaca socks.
Yeah, just where the hell? I'ma find it. No, but this is glorious, and like the two of y'all's energies, the two of y'all's beings, the two of y'all's spirits are just so bright. It's an absolute honor to have known y'all and grown with y'all for this long. And also, like, bruh, like, this is the beauty of these moments like these, because we've known each other for such a long time, right? And we know of each other's spirits and energies. We know of each other's personalities and some of the what we do's and all that. But time brings us together and, like, allows us to really understand and know one another as human beings. And this is where we at now.
Right, right. Yeah, man.
And this is where we about to go.
Love it.
I'm
Tell
so
'em no
fucking
shit.
excited. So y'all, both of y'all are two incredibly creative humans. I want to know where it started for each of you. You know what I'm saying? Like, kind of like early childhood and what that kind of life was like, and just what life was like back then as a kid.
Yeah, I'll go first. Life was crazy, deranged, but it was cool. I mean, you know, yeah, like, I moved around a lot, like, a lot.
Where were you born?
I was born in Kankakee, Illinois, which is like maybe like an hour outside of Chicago.
Kankakee?
Yeah, Kankakee.
Never heard of it.
Kankakee. I feel like at one point it was ranked like 354 out of 354 worst places to live in the U.S.
Really?
Yeah, because, like, you know, it's like farming country, so a lot of the jobs in those areas get, if the crops go and the crops die, then there's no real work, which means it's a lot of knuckleheads. Like, it was a big deal when our town got Super Kmart. Like, I remember it. Like,
Really?
you know what I'm saying? I remember it was like a thing. It was, you know, new jobs opening up, that kind of thing. But yeah, so like I grew up there, and just hanging around a lot of craziness, and my cousins, and I was always like living with someone. So whether it would be grandma or like uncle. My uncle was a blues musician. That's really the intro for me doing music. It was
wow.
Yeah, like either I could be outside being a knucklehead and going crazy, or I could hang out with my Uncle Fuzzy, who was always like playing. He played with like the Staple Singers, and he had played with
Awesome.
with Bill Clinton one time.
Oh, wow.
Like, he's like
So very, very official.
yeah, he's good. Like he's official.
What was that like for you, moving around so much and also being in that type of atmosphere?
It was cool because I had a brother, so we were each other's best friends. So like, you know, it was easier for me to move around a little bit because I always had him.
Older brother?
Yeah, older brother. You know what I'm saying? So like having an older brother and always having that was like kind of cool because even though I move around, but it also just like, you know, meeting different people, understand where different people come from. Like I remember this kid, I had a Beach Boys tape that I used to always listen to. I was like first grade? Wow. I used to always listen to the Beach Boys, this Beach Boys, best of Beach Boys tape. And like the homie who sat behind me, he had a Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints tape.
It was that.
Whoa. And he was into that. Yeah. And like, you know, his family was into that.
All right.
And he was like, yo, let's trade music. Even when I was, and I let him borrow Beach Boys, and he let me borrow that.
Right.
And I just remember even as a kid, like really geeking out to just new music.
Oh, wow.
You know what I'm saying?
Awesome.
Just anything that, you're into this? Because I was also like one of those kids, like, if you're into it, I'm going to be into it too.
Oh, cool.
You know what I'm saying? I'm going to try to understand what makes you tick and why you're into it. And I'm going to try to fall in love the same way. So like it allowed me to learn from so many different types of people because I will fall in love with you.
Oh,
not like that, but you know, like what you did, what you were about. I was just fascinated.
It's actually so unique to me for at such a young age for you to be able to have that type of feeling.
Right. It might have to be something like, you know, attachment issues or abandonment issues.
What do you mean? Like that's gorgeousness issues.
Yeah,
right
yeah.
You know
but I'm saying like
for sure. But where does that stem from? Because like to be able to like the thread line that I'm seeing is like a profound attachment to feeling, right? And like that music being a feeling and a vibe at that age, like I want to dive into that because I feel like there's a gorgeousness to that because to be able to feel, whether it's one way or another at such a young age, like that's a gift that we have as children too.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because
I don't know what it was. It just all felt good. Like I just remember like even all the craziness that was going on in like my life. I just remember music always kind of being that like, especially listening to the Beach Boys. Cause like I listened to the Beach Boys before I heard of the Beatles. So I was listening to the Beach Boys and I was just like, cause we only had like so many tapes. Obviously you listen to what, you know, your siblings listen to. And we lived in a place called Hopkins Park, which is outside of Kankakee, even further removed from city life. So I grew up like in the wood, playing in the woods, walking around barefoot. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like it was like we didn't have like the trash man didn't come to our neighborhood out in Hopkins Park. Like we had to burn our trash.
Oh shit.
You had to pile it up outside, pile it up in a big pile and burn it. So that's how far removed from just civilization, you know what I'm saying? So like going to the city to us was going to Kankakee. It wasn't going to Chicago. It was going to a small town, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So like any kind of information that we could soak in or I could soak in of the outside of what the world was like was just huge for me. I would just like soak it up and just go crazy and trip out, you know? And so like listening to the Beach Boys and kind of growing up with that and then moved to L.A. or Claremont.
How old were you?
It was 1990. Moved to Claremont in 1990. Then moved back to Kankakee in 93.
Why so much moving?
You know, just family shit that I still don't understand to this day. You know what I'm saying? Like, but it was just a lot of family shit. Like, Pops was into some wrong shit, you know what I mean? Like, and then like, you know, moved to LA the first time, met some friends, went to school with, the homegirl, Andrea Fembres, who's part of like Danny DeCane, eventually became part of Danny DeCane. But like, so I went to this cool ass school, met all of these different people. First met Mexicans my whole life. Like I had never known Mexicans.
How old were you at that time?
What was that, like 9?
Wow.
Maybe something like that. And then like, so got all of this LA knowledge and then they were like, you got to go back to Kankakee. Went back to Kankakee for like 5th and 4th grade, then came back, then went back for 6th grade. I went to 3 different schools for 6th grade. Like I moved around a whole lot. Like I remember being in 6th grade was when it started to get kind of like real crazy in my family, or at least on my side. Like, you know, Pops was doing craziness, pawning stuff, and it just got to be real crazy. We had a sister and randomly didn't even know.
Wow.
So it was like a lot of craziness going on, but Doug was popping. Like, I always would escape in television. Like, whatever was crazy going on, I just lose myself in television. So like Doug was popping, and like when Doug was popping, he had a journal. So I kept a journal. Man. So that's when I started writing. And writing and journaling and things, and that's how I started writing.
Oh, interesting.
And then I heard Brandy and Soul for Real, and that just took my head to a different. I was like, okay, Brandy, she's fine, and she's tight, and she's young. So, and then I just fell in love with her, and I was like, yo, I want to write songs, and I want to write music. Hooked up with my Uncle Fuzzy. My Uncle Fuzzy, I recorded my first song when I was maybe like in 4th grade or something like that. He probably still got it on tape somewhere. But then moved out here, set up like for real in like 7th grade, Culver City. And I skated hard, like for real. Like I was in commercials and shit doing stunts.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Like I was really like I could skate. To this day, I'm still pretty nice on some skates.
I want to know this though. What was moving around like? Both of you guys moved around a lot.
It was exciting.
Yeah.
It was exciting for me. It was because it was like you never knew. Because again, I'm from a small space, so like meeting new people was like. Especially if you're in a place that I don't know, you know what I'm saying? Meeting new people was just like, I would really absorb your whole culture.
That's interesting.
Like I'll lose my mind because I came from such a small concept. You know what I mean? Like when you're so far removed, like not only was I from Kankakee, which is removed from Chicago, I was actually also from Hopkins Park, which is removed. I was like twice removed from like normal civilization. You know what I mean?
So you're almost like normal, starving for like more connection.
Yeah, just want. And also I watched television so much that when I got to LA, I was expecting to see like stars on every corner. I was expecting to see like, you know what I mean? I was expecting to see all of the. And I got that in my own way. You know what I'm saying? Even though I was way out in Claremont, I still was like, man, where's Jean-Claude Van Damme at? Where's, you know what I'm saying? Where's Arnold Schwarzenegger? I just lost my mind in that. And so whenever anybody was doing something, it was just special to me because you're from LA.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's what are you speaking right now? Oh, Spanish? Oh man, that's the shit.
Yes.
Why? Because hey man, you from LA. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh, what's that stuff you put in your hand? Oh, that's Lucas? Oh, word, I'm in. This shit tastes terrible, but I'm with it. Why? Because we in LA. Like
that's such a cool approach because, we hear all the time stories from people moving around, and sometimes it can make you more like a recluse, or because you don't really have such a chance to make friends because you're just gonna move, and like you never get that core kind of.
I feel like my brother helped with that.
Yeah,
I was always I always had like good social skills because I had my brother. Like I always had somebody to say the weirdest shit to. You know what I'm saying?
Are important.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Like
especially when you're moving around. I mean, the changes that go on.
The one thing that stayed normal was my brother, so I could always know who I was a little bit because I knew my brother. I had a reference point, so I didn't. The only time I like completely recreated was when I came to LA. And that was because like moms was like, yo, you can really do whatever you want to do. You don't have to be, what you think you need to be.
Okay.
Like you can, and that's when I started like getting into, musical theater and all kinds of other stuff.
Did she have like that talk with you like that?
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, really?
For sure. Because I was tripping. I was tripping out here a little bit.
What do you mean? What do you mean?
Just super crazy anger issues. Didn't really know how to deal with them.
Was this right when you moved?
Yeah. Well, like I was tripping out there in Kankakee, then moved out here, and was still kind of tripping only because I felt like, I don't know what I felt at the time. I was just losing my mind, low key. And then. She just kind of was like, yeah, you can do whatever you want to do. Like, you don't have to. She gave me that safety net of like, yo, you could lose your mind. You know what I mean? Like, don't don't get caught in the cool so much. Like, follow your interests. Like, what are you interested in? And I was like, okay, these guys are skating. I kind of want to do that. And she's like, all right, go ahead, do that. And I guess it just gave me a confidence because I know, like, I would do things just to be on some opposition shit.
Why?
Just because I love the idea of figuring out what it really is. You know what I'm saying? Like if somebody tells you what it is, I'm like, no, it ain't. I'm going to go completely opposite of what you say it is, just so I can know what it is.
To find it.
Just to find out what it is. Because if I just take what you said, if I just take what you said, then I'm not really learning anything. I'm just being brainwashed. But like if I can fight you and then fight for my own understanding, then I'll kind of have like an even common ground. So I used to do that in everything, you know. So
even as a little kid, that's just always a part of your personality.
Yeah. Just wanted. I was break it, see what is it made out of. You know, let's break it down. Because again, I was from a small place, so information was just big for me.
Oh yeah,
as a kid, like I just wanted to know everything.
Absolutely.
I wanted to, you know what I mean, just dissect everything to a T. So when I was into something, I was really into it. When I was really into Pogs, I was really into Pogs. Had the tall cylinder, hella Pog slammers, shredders. You know what I'm saying? Like Trov USA, like it was real. You know what I'm saying? I didn't go to no competitions or nothing like that, but I just lost myself in things. You know what I'm saying?
And coming to a place like LA that's so polar opposite of your environment that you've been in,
right?
And then your mom giving you almost like a fresh start.
Yeah.
Probably did it help create like a little identity for you, or were you more conscious of?
It helped me to lose myself or lose who I thought. Like, because I feel like sometimes you got to lose who you think you are, so you can rediscover who you are. You know what I mean? You got to get lost in something and challenge your thought. Challenge your thinking. Like at one point I was like, okay, this is cool. And then I would see somebody doing something. Oh, it's not cool. But I'm like, wait, is it? Let me do that.
Yeah.
Let me see if it really is. You know what I'm saying? Like, so like growing, you know, coming out here, like folks was like, oh yeah, you a white boy because you skating and da-da-da-da-da. You know what I'm saying? Oh yeah, for sure. Got it. You know what I'm saying?
It's crazy how like even kids and like it's wild because like I feel like earlier on in childhood, it's very easy for us to like just like mingle and mangle with one another because like we're so green. Shout out to the sirens.
Shouts out.
No, but like, and as we get older, as these like just straight paradigms in our brains and just like thoughts that we think what's cool, what's not, this, that, and the other. For somebody to like, we deal with that as kids, and as we grow older, like in the adolescence, it's wild to think of how harsh we become and how set in our own like thoughts then that we become. Naturally we're gonna grow into one of which way, but like even that, like you start skating and it's like a thing,
like I'm supposed to, like or
like
this isn't the cool thing to do.
White skating,
right? You know,
like it's wild because like when I went to Orange County in the 8th grade, I loved hip hop. Like I was wearing platinum FUBU,
especially
like
OC,
you know what I'm saying, everything, Pure Players, Carl, all that.
It's like we struggle with perception. You know what I'm saying?
And the wild thing is like
you were the
like no, but in the Valley in 6th and 7th grade, like it was just
the fly.
You know, but like I can't even say it was a fly. It was just I was the Persian dude that was like loving hip hop and just had my boys, and it was looked at as just like we here.
Right.
Then I went to Orange County, and it's like, why are you trying to be black?
Right.
That's because of their see.
No, it is.
Well,
no, but it is. And I was
but like
understanding the type of kid I was. Black. I was just like, define that. Tell me how this is trying to be black, or could this be like I just love hip hop? I buy the clothes and support, and I'm just
hip-hop
here with
is
the culture.
Definitely a culture.
Right.
Tell me what black is. But our perceptions.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
But you get them at such a young age of like, you know, and that kind of either, I don't want to say makes or breaks you, but it's like that moment when somebody others you like really hard, when at a young age, it really clicks your ego on.
Yeah.
And it really makes you, you know what I'm saying? It makes you want to.
It starts shaping.
Yeah.
I feel like we become rigid in the way we are in our beliefs because we get to that point where we're trying to prove ourselves. We get to that age where we're like, yo, this is what I believe. You can't tell me, that what I'm doing over here is wrong because it means this to me. You know what I'm saying? But then,
it also
as
forces
you learn,
you to,
you engage in it. As you learn, it's a relationship like anything.
It also forces you to like know what it is. Like if anybody challenges you on something, it's like, okay, yeah, it's a test. So, but if you know it through and through, it's like, oh, okay, that is gonna fly. You know what I'm saying? Because like once I started like getting in commercials and doing things like popping up in skate videos, then everybody was kind of making fun of me. It was like, oh wait, that's kind of crazy.
Hey.
Like when you're like, it's funny until you're good at it.
Right.
And, it's all laughable when you're starting off, but like once you get good at it, it's like that's not so funny anymore. That's actually pretty impressive.
Also, I feel like as kids, there's so many things that instantly define you, and we've had this topic come up in other episodes too, where like if you're skateboarding, that's your box, right? Even though you don't choose it, everyone chooses it for you. But it's just like the influence of kids being around. The same thing if like you're into hip hop or you play basketball or you're into rock music. It's like, oh, those are the rockers. Those are the skaters. Yeah. Those are the ballers. Those are the rappers. And it's like, well, I like all of it, but it's a challenge to break out of that identity or those boxes that kind of everyone puts you in. As a kid, it's something that it's a weird thing that happens. Yeah. And you don't choose that. You're just like, well, if I do this, then I'm conflicting here, and you just kind of fall into that
because you feel even at such a young age, you get this perception kind of put on you that you should have it figured out now. Who you are now is who that. You know what I'm saying? Like even
on such
it's
a
funny,
juvenile level.
so stupid.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I'm saying? Like how are you like,
know
13 years old having somebody like ridicule you, and it's like I only been on this earth 13 years. You know what I'm saying? But when you get older, you get 13 years ain't nothing. But when you're young,
it goes back to that. I think it's just that inherent need to want to like feel like
fit in.
Yeah, feel like
you
know it all. Feel like you're feeling like you know enough to be respected. To
looking back at that, it's so cute how petty it is.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
You feel me? Like I want to pinch that in the cheek. You know what I'm saying? Because like at the end of the day, the beauty of it is just like in big scope is that we all grow into whoever we become. Right. Like those, like it's just like moments.
That's real deep right there.
You feel, for real though.
It's
like
real.
Those cats in elementary, like that's kids being kid shit. But like we grow up. Some of us grow up and grow. Right? Whether it's like motherfucker was on the polar right side or the polar left. Like
some people
people
be born grown.
And that's the beauty of our stories.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because like we could look at just like the bigger scope. Like it's wild. You know what? Like I think about like how like our parents tell us shit, right? And most of the time we just not about it because we just want to kind of be against it. But like we know, and we just want to have our freedom. Looking back, like I'm like, damn, 95% of the shit my parents told me like ended up being damn close to right.
Damn close,
for sure.
Right? Yeah, and looking back at it, like we all get through stages where we have like a younger homie or a younger brother or a younger friend that we're looking at, or just even a younger, for y'all, artist on the come up, and just like a fan or this, that, and the other. It's like you try and impart that and you just become uncle. But at the end of the day, they can perceive it as uncle. You can perceive it as like, look, but that's just where we are in our lives in these moments.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Now, you were skating heavy. What was... Ayo, what was some of your, like, during that time, like, what were you gravitating towards? Like, I know you were, like, because you're an explorer now. You know what I'm saying? Put the ninja suit on, knock on the door, like, what it do?
What up, baby?
But, what like, were your creative interests peaking at this point also?
Well, before I got into writing, rapping, music, well, I always had a foot in music in some way, because my father was a musician. My mom was always playing music around the house, but prior to music and all that stuff, I was into.
What was she playing?
She's always playing Queen.
Oh, crazy!
Wow,
a lot of Queen, a lot of Phil Collins.
Hold on,
Sting and the Police.
Oh.
Take me back to that household. Are we in?
Tina Marie,
Patti LaBelle. She also introduced me to hip hop. My mom introduced me to hip hop.
Come on,
straight up.
Really?
Hey, the podcast done. I'm out of here, y'all.
My mom put me up on Masta P. Crazy. Straight up.
Hey, what was the first CD you got? What was the first CD you
Oh, the first CD I got,
your mom bought you?
Lil' Kim's first album.
You lit.
There it is.
You
I feel
lit.
He told me that shit. I was like,
Yo,
mom's is with it.
Yeah.
Mama.
You know, like, so
Can we call this woman? Like, come on, like, yo.
maybe she, she just, she saw that she trusted me,
Yeah.
Yeah.
She,
She must have known. He was over here like, I was putting on.
because
this.
you remember how the album
knocking
cover
on
looked.
About that already.
Y'all remember how the album cover looked. Y'all remember that first. You know what I'm saying?
Was that
Yes.
hardcore?
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
that's right.
Coochie all out.
Yes. Just on bop mode.
For real. You know what I'm saying? But as a kid, I'm not, obviously, I was into that, but I'm not. I was more into the music.
Absolutely. No, but like you were
And I
surrounded
guess-
by the music.
Yeah, and I guess,
You brought that up like a Kareem Abdul-Jabbar just hook shot. Like,
for sure. So I think for sure that definitely sunk into me. But before I got into the music, I was more into illustration and drawing and
Really?
and stuff. Yeah. I used to draw my own comic books, my own comic book characters.
Awesome.
Wow.
I lost all that shit. By the way, that shit. I put that shit in the store. It was a moment in life. I got the repo, the car. I got the repo. You know what I'm saying? I lost a lot. You know what I'm saying? Bounce back. But but yeah, like I was very much like if you go to my mom's crib, she has my art hanging up all around the crib and stuff.
Wow.
Like, I was really into that. I went to Art Institute. I went to the Chicago College of Art, Atlanta College of Art.
Wow.
I did a lot of.
So that was a huge part of your
I
life.
was really into that, but at a very young age, I was. If I would have continued that, I would have been. I would have been really dope at it. But I guess one day I just stopped and I got into writing.
how old were you then?
I started writing around, I would say 4th, 5th grade.
Wow.
Oh, and that's when you stopped drawing?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
But these are discussions like, I got a scholarship to SC.
Bro, I got a scholarship to Art Institute, but the thing was because I went to this program like Art Institute used to have these like little short programs, and you could either do it in any of the fields that they taught in, like whether it's culinary or it's graphic design or it's painting. I did it in Photoshop, a class in Photoshop.
Yeah.
And then, we learned in it, and then
That
unbeknownst to us, they were grading us on the work that we was doing because they wanted to give a scholarship to who they felt had the most potential, you don't want to tell kids, hey, for real, you're better than this kid.
Right.
But, they came around and asked me what I wanted to do, and I was like, I was planning on going to California making some music. This was later, actually. I want to plan on going to California making some music. Well, not necessarily going to California, but like I plan on getting into music and stuff. And I told them that. I didn't know they was getting out of scholarship.
Got it.
So around the time at the end of the program, they were, giving out the certificates and shit like that, and they gave it out to this other kid, and then one of the teachers came up to me after, and he was like, we really wanted to give it to you, but you told me that you wanted to get into music and shit. Well, he didn't say shit.
Yeah. No, for real.
Yeah, he did. You want to get into music and shit.
Yeah, you want to get music and shit. I was trying to get you.
Right.
Fucking around. You fucking around. So you get music. Nah, but then, I got into music. I moved out to California. I met this guy on Yahoo Chat before I moved out to California. I used to be on the internet heavy. Used to be on Yahoo Chat.
So you were doing the art, like art and the music.
I was still doing art, but when I shifted to music, I was doing art sparingly. You know what I'm saying? Because it shifted. Because first I was into drawing and illustrating and writing and doing. I was into comic books and stuff. And from that, when I got to high school, I was in the art class and was doing pastels and acrylics and stuff. And then from there, there was because I had been doing it. There was this program that my mom, knew about. She was always, mom's hold it down. It's all about support system, what I'm saying? That's why, TiRon moving out to LA and his mom telling him, you just follow whatever you feel you want to do, When you had that support system, then you just spread your arms, what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So, she found this program with the Art Institute, which dealt with Photoshop, because I was always on the computer anyway. I was a nerd, but I was always cool though. I was always fly.
You better believe that. You better believe that.
It's because I had that good mixture. I had my siblings was always, my family is, they're from Southside Chicago. It's the hood. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But at the same time, the hood don't mean that people aren't intelligent.
It's just one way, right?
Absolutely. Factual.
It don't mean that people aren't into things that you wouldn't consider black people into or people of color into. You know what I'm saying?
Bro, when you're looking at life, what is color though? Let's just be real. In terms of, that's hella wrong. Now,
not really.
No, but we're all humans, right?
It's
and
branding.
humans have interests, right? If we took color and definition out of it, and it was just being. Every being has their own interests. Yep. Every being has what community or whatever they're raised in. We all go through these things. That's why you damn right.
Right. But that's a whole other thing. You know what I'm saying? It's just the perception we have of each other that
absolutely.
But
what drew you to music and writing, and away from drawing?
My brother was rapping first. I remember.
What was their rap names?
His name is Piro.
Shout out to Piro. What up?
Yeah.
What up? Piro got that hot album of 2018 release. Piro.
Yo, man, he's fucking dope though, man. He's really dope.
Awesome.
He's a Rascas head.
Yep. Prodigy really he's.
Rest in peace.
Yeah.
For real.
Yeah, he's like Prodigy 2.0. I say that.
All right.
1.5
I just went keep it thorough.
Yeah.
I went to that Prodigy.
That
was Prodigy 2.0 when he did keep it thorough.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm not gonna say necessarily. I mean, just terms of just writing, because he didn't necessarily, he did. He was into rapping and music as well. And when we moved down to Chicago, we moved down with my mom's best friend, her family. And, my older brother, his best friend was my mom's best friend's son. You know what I'm saying? And he was rapping. He wasn't rapping back then, but, just the energy. I remember we used to freestyle, and I remember this one time, he was maybe living off of Mableton, Georgia. I feel like we was just freestyling, and I just remember I was just young, and I was just freestyling, I was just getting it, and I just knew at the time it wasn't, at the time I didn't know, but I knew,
thing,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I wasn't cognizant of it, but inside, my unconscious, my subconscious knew, which is why I continued on that path. And then at the same time, I was always into reading books. You know what I'm saying? I used to read 300, 400. My mom used to get me stuff that normal kids probably wouldn't read, vampire novels and stuff. I wasn't a nerd.
You're super eclectic though with it.
But still a slave though.
That's the thing about music, man. And it's something, I kind of had a similar thing. I used to draw my whole life. My dad drew, passed down to me. I drew I wanted to be an artist. If you look
my father was kind of dope at drawing too.
Yeah, and if you even look at my 8th grade yearbook, it says what do you want to be when you grow up? And it was cartoonist, animator. I made cartoons. Like I took animation class. All this like.
I swear I was gonna do comic books when I swear I was gonna do comic books when I was growing up.
Yeah, no.
So my dad was incredible at art and drawing.
The idea of doing, look, the idea of being an artist, like drawing, is so dope to me because I can't draw at all. So like when people can really draw, I'm like, man, that's crazy.
You know, I wasn't even that great. Like, you know, there's different kind of artists. I was into cartoons, so like wacky shit. Like,
but even then, like it's still like you can draw something that's like, you know what I mean? It's
like
just,
I think
stick figures
honestly,
is as far as I go.
dog,
but that's dope
I can't
too.
do it. I can't do it. It's weird. Like the fact that you can see something on a paper. You know what I mean? That ain't there.
Life though.
Yeah,
give it like form.
Yeah, there's something really great about doing that, especially when you take kind of the pressure off it and just it's like music. You don't have to necessarily be like the most technical, crazy musician to be a good musician or a good songwriter.
Absolutely.
Same with art. It's all like subjective. It's all like, you know, taste. It's imagination. You know, so then I started playing music like in 6th grade. And kind of I was paralleling music with drawing, and same thing. Like when I was going to go to college, it was like, do I do art institute or do I do college? Do I do music? And I literally made a conscious decision to be like, I'm doing music.
So you did art all through high school,
all throughout high school.
Wow.
Yeah, I took graphic design, took art, took animation class. I wanted to be an animator. I wanted to work for like Disney and do.
I did.
You still?
I did art all through high school too.
I don't. And I had the same thing. Like tons of characters I would draw. I did a cartoon of like an Adidas, just like walking all over the walls. It was like a shell toe. It was cool.
Did you? Were you graph? Did you do like? Did you write it all? Like, did you do like graffiti?
I did.
Okay, so
but not on the walls. Like I did it on just papers.
Right. But I'm saying like you knew how to do that.
I could do it right now. Like if you, I had an entire like booklet of man, I loved tagging, loved graffiti. I had so many graffiti books. I did so much of it. All throughout, like I literally have like books and stacks of books.
Dang,
bro, you know what's beautiful? I just want to interject. You better keep going about those stacks because I've never known about them.
Crazy.
I could bust it out right now and like, you know,
I lost all my shit, unfortunately.
But you know, it's so interesting. Something about music, like as obsessed as I was with like doing, you know, cartoons and crazy shit and drawing and all this stuff, playing in a band and playing music. Like the energy of it, the live feel of it, I don't know, something about it. It's not that it's better than drawing but when I kind of had to make that choice of like, what are you going to focus on?
Yeah.
I was like, music all day. I don't know why. It was like, it was a no-brainer. It was a no-brainer for some reason. It sounds like for you, like just that same thing. Like, but rap is dope, you know?
Right. Bro, I want to heal.
I don't necessarily, that's what I'm saying. I don't necessarily know why. You know, it was just something like, you know, it's just that you felt, you know, it's just like, I'm gonna do this. And I spent more time, you know, definitely going to art schools than I spent going to music schools.
That's
so
wild.
like,
but like,
try something different. Just felt at that time do something different.
Absolutely. That's insane though. That's incredible.
I mean, but it parallels. It's all expression, right? Like you say you can't, you can never draw, right? But you're a fucking amazing skater.
Right.
Skating is, you know, it's art. Right. Like, it's expressive as hell. It's the way your style. It's
just different.
The tricks
it was different.
Different, yeah.
It was different.
But
like,
still, it's art.
Different was always good to me. Like, because I guess I would try to find the beauty in it. Like, if you liked something a lot, I would try to figure out why you liked it so much. You know what I mean? Like, you know, because everybody has their passions. And I always knew mine was music. But in the meantime, all of these people are fascinated in something, like a whole lot. So, like, if you were a geek, I would geek out in what you were geeked out in. Like, if I was close to you.
That's interesting, man.
My friend at the time, he had some skates, and he liked to skate. And I was like, okay, well, so how do you do this? And you know what I mean? And then I just lost my mind in it. And then, you know, I think it's always I just like the geeks. I like people who were really fascinated in something, even on some like, you know, gun shit or like dope dealing shit. Like even back, like you know what I mean. Like I would just be fascinated in just what I wasn't doing. You know what I mean? So like,
curious.
Yeah, just curious.
Always.
'Cause I feel like whenever I saw people light up, I'll be like, okay, what is that? You know what I'm saying? It's not that you like something, but when you see somebody who's like
passionate
and just
obsessed,
obsessed, it's like, oh, I want to know what that addiction is. I want to know why you're into that. You know what I'm saying?
That's interesting, man.
Where did that search take you along the way from like skating and loving music?
I mean, I went to musical theater because I always knew I wanted to make music, but I was like, okay, I need to learn how to be me comfortably at all times in front of whoever the fuck. How am I gonna do that?
That's a stage.
Get on the stage. Get on the stage. Do Shakespeare.
Wow.
Do Moliere.
Oh wow! So you just went drama
straight up,
all the way.
All the way. You know what I'm saying? Musical theater, Pippin.
How was that?
Midsummer Night's Dream, Cabaret.
Yep. See that?
Brighton Beach Memoirs.
Because that's on this other
history
side
of
over
American
here.
film. Christopher Durang. We were doing. Who was the one guy who did The Ball Soprano? Who was that? Eugene Ionesco. Like, so I lost my mind just on the stage, just putting myself in different modes and emotions and owning it on stage. So once I started to kind of write my own rhymes and music, I could put myself in that feeling very easy because, like, I guess I learned how to lose my mind on stage. Because when you're on stage and when you have to be a character, you got to lose your mind. Like, you don't exist. Like, your story doesn't matter. What you went through doesn't matter. None of that matters. You got to just black out and become somebody else.
It's wild how, like, literally through this conversation, it's wild. Put a hashtag on that. You know what I'm saying?
Hashtag wild.
Do you feel like?
No, but you know what? I just want to make one reference because this is a thesaurus speaking. Lose your mind is also be free.
Yeah. Because I feel like we're slaves to our mind.
Yeah.
We're slaves to overthinking and talking ourselves out of experiences and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
So like,
I just saw such a beautiful yin and yang in that expression of that, right? Because lose your mind, naturally for a thinker, that's like just go there.
Yeah.
Right? But then for average brain, right? And just like
You like to have a sense of control.
It's like, what? But at the same time, that in reference is be free. Like, you found free. You know what's crazy? I was just like literally thinking to myself, I was like, damn, you found lights in these people. Light that maybe there was a dark and you found a light to it.
Yeah. Because I was so used to seeing people uninspired, you know what I'm saying, stuck, addicted, whatever. So when you saw somebody that was interested, when I saw your face light up, like you showed, if you were excited about something and showed it to me, oh, I'm buying it. What you doing? What we doing? You know what I mean? Like,
that's why I was saying, I feel like
it's just a certain energy that you get from, you know, because then it's like, yo, you really want to teach me. You really want to tell me everything about it. The way that you're shining right now, you feel like you know something, and it's making you feel a way that I kind of might not. I kind of want to feel that way. You know what I'm saying? So turn me on. You know, it's that. You know what I'm saying? Not in that way.
Off
you know
top.
you know
Flip the switch.
Right. You know what I'm saying? Turn the light on.
That's what I was saying.
I
was feeling like moving, like changing schools a lot, you know, might have contributed to like how, because I don't know, like, did you feel like when you moved from school to school that you found friends easy?
I didn't. I always found friends, but I found friends in ways where it was more like me being fascinated in what they were doing. Yeah. Not necessarily them wondering what I was into.
You don't think it wasn't reciprocated after you did that?
No, it was, but it was really just me losing my mind in what, because I always had the feeling like I was gonna move again. So it was never really about letting people know what I was going through.
See, that's one, when you know you always on the move.
Yeah.
Look, I moved around plenty as a kid. right? Like I moved around probably like 10 times as a kid. You know what I'm saying? Different elementary schools, different junior highs, same high school, and then college, right? But for me, it was like I was a funny fat kid. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't putting a ninja suit on. But I was just there with like my tennis shit and just like my like pure plays and all that as we started getting older. But like for me, look, moving around a lot can do one of two things, right? And it's actually like having heard this story and just like the beauty of this feeling from like even like J-Dub, right? Military family, always on the go. You get to a certain point where you're like, well, if I know I'm leaving in a year from now, like, why am I going to get so close?
Yeah, what's the point?
Right. And for me, it was more like, okay, mom and dad fighting, like, we about to go hear this. New school, like, okay, we move and shake. But for me, I was always optimistic. It's like, I'm going to break this system anyways.
Right.
Like, I'm going to be me, like, we good.
Right.
You know, I'm not upset that it may take like a month in the school to just like figure a way.
But I also think it's the synergy of that attitude, but also the fact that you're a new kid. You know what I'm saying? And when you're a new kid in the place, that you have this draw to you because people are interested in you.
That's kind of nerve wracking sometimes because you feel the pressure to be something. Because that's essentially what it is. When you show up to a new school, it's like, okay, who are you? Yeah. What do you do? What are you into?
Well,
what do you like?
Here's the opposite. So I went to school from kindergarten all the way to high school with like basically the same fucking kids all the way, right? Didn't move. Nope. So I'm LA all day.
Private school?
No, it's just public school.
He said right up the block?
Right up the block, right there. All the way through.
Neighborhood school.
And here's the thing, what like intrigues me about you guys is that when you get like for you, TiRon, to move into do your thing, go get a drink. You can hear me. I'll listen back. Yeah. No, it's like I think when you get the opportunity to be somebody new. You know, you almost get like a fresh start when you move around. That from what I've heard, you come, you can kind of reintroduce yourself, and you have the ability to try something new. When TiRon's saying he got into skateboarding, then got into drama, I feel like growing up with all the same kids around you, you're already the same person. Like you can't have those drastic changes because you've already established yourself. Right. As somebody, right? So say you're into something and sports, for instance, and then you want to make a shift to drama. I feel it's much harder to do that because you're already the sports dude. You're like the person into you're the player, so that's your kind of your trajectory. That's the social. Yeah. If you break that, now you're hanging with that crew and you've never hung out with those guys and you're abandoning your friends over here that you've been with that are part of the sports crew to do the drama crew. Right. Versus if you could just go to a different school and be new, you have an opportunity to try something, to challenge yourself, to be someone different. And I think I probably lost out as many opportunities as I had that I'm super grateful for. I probably also lost out on opportunities because I couldn't take that chance to be someone different or try something new because my identity was already like bred from fucking 5 years old on. It's not going to be like
comfortable.
So like, did you get to a point where you like decided like, wait a minute, where you came to that awareness where you're like, wait a minute, I don't have to abide by this idea of what all of my friends that I grew up of me.
Honestly, like, no, I feel like I'm still like the same dude as I was like in middle school when I was fucking, rocking out to like punk rock music in like elementary school. Up until now, it's just, you just kind of have
like
that
Pennywise,
identity.
Bad Religion.
Yeah, just all that stuff like Green Day and, No Doubt.
Yeah, okay.
Like,
that was a good time.
Yeah,
it really
Rancid,
was.
Rancid, Op Ivy.
Yeah.
But going somewhere and being the new kid, it kind of gives you an opportunity to do something new without carrying that baggage of your identity.
Yeah.
You could be with the new crowd. But
that's the optimist speaking, right? Like naturally, right? Like being the new kid does different things to different kids, and also
for sure.
that gravitational pull and those op-ed eyes like could do different things or could be different things, right?
Yeah,
it's like
definitely.
All of us are in these scenarios where we have like those different zones of newness, if you will. You know what I mean? Like for us, the new was kind of a wave. Let's be real. You know what I mean? For T, like the newness was, okay, this is new, but there's going to be new again, inherently.
Yeah. Yeah. Because
You know
I just
what I mean?
moved around
And-
so much.
yeah.
And it was always going to be different. Like, I was always going to learn something different. And I'm
When
one
did
of those.
I want to ask you this. When did
that?
you lock into
The music
expression
shit?
being a way to escape? Because like it sounds like it was hella early because you were looking.
It
for
was
like, when
early.
was-
It was early.
Yeah.
It was always, it was television.
yeah,
It was the alternate universe.
that's the most
Life
beautiful-
wasn't cool.
Yeah.
Let me lose my mind. Because I also, like, again, I'm from the country. I remember very vividly, like that, the trees used to fall over in the woods next to where where my family lived. You know what I'm saying? My grandmother had, like 10 people in the house at one time?
Oh, wow.
It was, a 2-bedroom? You know what I'm saying? It was a house, like, way out in the sticks, but, like, basically my whole family, like my mom, my aunt, my uncle, all of us were raised in this one house. You know what I mean? And I remember one of the trees fell over, and I remember before we had Nintendo, I went outside, I took a piece of bark off the tree, and I sat there for at least an hour, imaginary playing a video game.
Oh, really?
Lost my mind.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Like I remember at very young ages losing my mind, like doing stuff like that. You know what I mean? Just dreaming and imagining and all that kind of stuff. So like once it came time to, be around or get into things, I lose my mind in it. I was in it.
So
I was it.
So taking that and going into like now you're doing these plays. It's just you've been doing this. Now it just gives you the platform and the stage to really like exploit that part of you.
Yeah, and just to know exactly how to do it, how to project, know where the dead spots on the stage are, know how to balance out a stage.
Was it challenging for you?
No,
No,
because I lost my mind.
It just came naturally.
Hold on, I want to interject because we're alluding to the losing of the mind. Take us through what losing your mind is in your eyes.
Losing your mind is like when nothing matters. There's no time.
Yeah.
Nothing exists. Like the only thing that exists is what is supposed to exist. Like if you're on the stage, like I've lost my mind on stage
Yes.
a couple times.
No, yes.
You know what I'm saying? Where like you it's not a blackout, it's a tap in. You know what I mean?
Guys, this has been a fantastic podcast.
This is the first time Joe's left, by the way.
Because like when people
Hey,
say they
good night.
black
No,
out,
but
that's
boom.
different. Tapping in is it's like I'm here.
This to tap in.
This is what it is. This is who I am. This is what I represent. This is what I believe. And you can hurt yourself doing that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like
Naturally.
a lot of there's a lot of actors who tap in so hard they don't come back.
But see, look, that's no, but yeah, but like that's end scenario. If you're fortunate enough to even tap in that deep, right.
I think it's just it's
beauty-
knowing the feeling of what it means to tap in is what I kind of got addicted to.
But this has been losing your mind defined,
right.
because that's freedom. Like it's so beautiful to me to hear that from youth you've been searching for freedom, right?
Yeah.
And it led to expression,
Right.
It's wild how you can look back and you see dark.
Yeah. Because I think it's really just some things you just can't put into words.
Absolutely.
There's a feeling that I feel like there's a feeling that we all try to describe what it means to exist. We all try to like connect with what that feeling is to exist. And it's usually when you tap in is when everything becomes still, everything moves in slow motion. You stop thinking about it and you just are. And it's it's kind of like it's addicting.
Absolutely,
you know what I'm saying?
All right.
So like I just got addicted to that.
As much as it is liberating.
Yeah, it is liberating because you realize that you're not as responsible for as much as you think you are.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you're not responsible for how people view you. They're gonna view you how they're gonna view you. Not saying you're not in control. No, you're not in control of that. Like
you're not until you are.
You're not. Yeah, and if you are, and if you think you are, is what that really is. It's a burden to carry, and then you're playing to what you're trying to manipulate the zeitgeist. And at times, you just got to be, and you got to lock in. And I always was addicted to that. Like even when I skated, I was addicted to commitment. That's basically what it is. Committing to whatever I'm doing. Like if I'm gonna do something, I'm either gonna be an A student or F student. I don't get C's. I never got C's ever. I was either honor roll or nigga, you about to get kicked out of school. Period. It was no in between for me. No in between for me. Yo, you're truant. I had like at one point I had like 48 truancies or something like that. I was just gone. Either I was all the way in or all the way out.
Yeah,
that was my life. You know what I'm saying? Just because commitment was, because I would lose my mind. I can't even. I was it. You know what I'm saying? Like whatever I was doing, that's what I was doing, and I was the best at it. And I would argue at you, and I would get upset, and I would fight. I hate losing. Why? Because this is what the fuck I'm doing. Period. Yeah. And that's how I always had that energy. You know what I mean? Growing up, I hated it.
It was different for me. Like
he's literally.
He said, "Is this thing on?"
I was like, "It's commitment." That's how. He's like, "Well, it's different for me, man." Let me tell you with my.
He said, "I respect that."
Silken.
Is this thing on?
No, with me, you know, and this is a whole another conversation about, you know, how you learn and, you know, what pushes you. But for me, like a lot of things came easy, so I would get bored with things.
Absolutely.
You know, like for me, like in order to graduate high school, I had to go to summer school and night school.
Wow.
Why?
Because I wasn't, because of math. I wasn't into math. Not because I wasn't good at it, but because I just wasn't interested in it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I didn't apply myself. So I would just get like D's, F's, C's, you know, in math.
Yeah.
And I just wasn't really into it. So I had to go and make that up. And the funny thing is, when I did do it, they allowed us to take modules. And you know that, and you notice when you take modules that you could finish the course requirements. A module is like on a computer. You take the class on a computer.
Oh, okay.
You know? So you're just taking a bunch of tests. These are old computers. Tests. The letters are probably in like green. No, they probably white. That's still crazy though. White letters. But it was just, anyway, you take these tests, take these modules, and by the end of the module, you pass the class.
Yeah.
So it's like, man, you know, you do it at your own speed because you go in there, you know, and you do it at your own speed, and you realize that, wait, I could have finished class this fast.
Yeah.
Or, you know, you realize that class isn't all about just doing work.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Absolutely.
saying? Socializing and understanding that having an authority figure isn't necessarily a bad thing.
Right.
You know, depending on how well that authority figure authoritates. You know, you be having some
authoritate. I feel you.
You be having some terrible teachers sometimes. Straight up.
Yeah.
You be having some straight up terrible teachers, man. We all do.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
we all got our favorites.
Like we all experience these things.
Yeah, for sure.
This is universal.
For sure.
I had a teacher once. Sorry, I'm going on a tangent.
Go on a tangent.
It's probably one of the worst moments. I had a teacher once. It was this is actually in college. She was a professor, and we had to like write this. I forgot what it even was, but it was like an English class, and we had to write something about like summarizing a book in a certain way or something like that. And she was like, all right, class, and she was handing out, she had a stack of papers and she was handing out everybody. She's like, this is a sample and I want you guys to all pick out the stuff that's wrong with it. And she's handing this out to everybody in the class and it gets to me and it's my fucking shit. It's the stuff it's the thing that I wrote.
Oh, no. Hey, she definitely authoritative.
And I'm like, and I was like, I worked hard on this. I was like, wait. And it doesn't have, it's like my name's redacted.
In front of you.
My name's redacted. No one knows except I'm the only one that knows.
That's a cold-blooded teacher.
That's it.
And so the teacher
and
I
was a rebel. I would talk back.
Yeah. Well, so the professor, she starts going around the class. Now let's break out the first paragraph. What do you guys think is wrong? And like people are raising their hands and just ripping to shreds my entire report. And I'm sitting there and I can't answer anything because I think my shit is right because I wrote it.
That's a witch hunt though.
Big time. She got talking to after class. I feel that. I went up and I was like, really?
Yeah, like what?
Like, I'm going to be the example?
The best thing is
how do I learn?
The best thing is like telling your parents and then like they just like go off.
You know what's so beautiful to me about you two, and even considering like this is before y'all even met, like y'all two are so receptive to the world around you. Mm. And you guys are so different in how you see it, right? And how you ingest it. Like, it's beautiful to me to see this union, right? Like, and we're going to get there. Mm-hmm. But, like, I feel like we've just come to, like, a very fork in the road, right? Of, like, where this is going to start to come together. But, like, I just want to take a second to, like, admire how in tune with the world both of y'all are, and from such polar opposite experiences, perspectives, paradigms, thoughts, and like the way we see it.
Yeah. I mean, everybody has their
like yin and yang would be so petty, right? But like I feel like there's such a profound beauty, and naturally, bro, that's what a team is, right? And a team and just like even friends is that we inspire each other and we also are there for one another, right? We all different. And you guys like being even a group, which we already knew that, but like a group, right? Seeing two polar opposite human beings that feel so much and express it so differently. Like, hey, like you just like literally, bro, like I'm in a wave with you. Mm. You know what I mean? Yeah. And at the same time, I could be on the surfboard with TiRon flicking everybody off because I'm so pissed. But I'm like, I want this shit, bitch. Fuck all y'all. Put that on the fucking page. Right? Yeah. But at the same time, knowing that all those cats that I beat just now were my mentors. We just soaked it in, lost our minds for a second. You know what I'm saying?
Like, it's interesting, and like, I wouldn't necessarily say I'm angry, just passionate.
See, but look, that's the beauty of, perfect. That's the beauty of our egos. We're going to get there later, but like, that's what it is. Because we can never control how we're perceived.
Right.
Those middle fingers could be like our passion.
Right.
And that fuck you is with a smile on my face.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Well, however you take that, I can't control.
Right.
And that's what really losing our minds is.
Yeah.
We feel so much, but we can't control how that feeling is transferred.
Right. Exactly.
If a motherfucker is at one with the fact that, like, look, the intention is never anger.
Right.
Then you can't get upset if it's felt that way.
Right.
Sometimes like you won't see it.
Right.
Hey Omari, can I ask you, did you ever feel like you were quote unquote losing your mind or getting lost in your imagination, whether it was with drawing or music? Did you have that feeling too? Actually, more for music.
Do I feel like I was losing my mind and withdrawing from music?
Just
okay,
like,
can I interject?
Yeah.
Goddamn, like what? Like with the definition that losing their mind has become. Of course, he has, by definition of, bruh. When you even at a young age are a ninja in the neighborhood.
Yeah. It's caring about what you do.
No, but look, your imagination is free. That's what that is.
Well, again, that goes back to having a great support system. You know what I'm saying? Like, my mother exposed me to many things that, you know, like, my mother was a single mom, but my father was still in my life. Mm-hmm. But their ideologies are completely different. You know what I'm saying? But I spent most of my time with my mom. Mm-hmm. So because of her, I won't say that I'm you know, more talented or more better or more skilled or whatever. My father, but it may be, you know, same thing, but in a different respect, different context. My mom just was more broad in terms of what she was accepting of and what she was engaging with. You know what I'm saying? So she, you know, she opened my mind up to more things. You know, because she doesn't necessarily play the moral game or conservative game so heavy, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, you know, like, it really just comes from support, you know, just having the right support system to being able to express yourself in all these different various ways, especially as a black kid, you know, because growing up, we don't have all of the same representation that we would, you know, that, you know, kids that aren't of color, you know, might have. Absolutely. To where we could look up and be like, yo, man, I could do that. I could be that. You know, I can engage in that. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, but at the same time, you know, black people's also in the martial arts. So I was, you know, I don't know how that happened. It was just a thing. American Ninja.
There you go.
Straight up.
Yeah.
Straight up.
Yeah. But yeah, you know, having the right support system, you know, it allows you to be able to express yourself.
And that in and of itself, bro, it's like, it's beautiful how two human beings can get there and be so polar opposite in these respects.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I love that. And that's such, like, and when it's polar opposite, it's just different. There's no right, wrong, this, that, the other. It's just different. And we're all different. Mm-hmm. I want to ask you this to lead up into how y'all, from growing, like, from experiencing the same neighborhoods growing up to getting to a point where the decisions of what creative path y'all were going to take came to, right? Once you were graduating high school and what was that like for you in your path? Because you chose the stage. Was the stage always to, like, feel comfortable knowing what you were gonna do anyways, or did it become which stage do I want to partake in?
I knew I was gonna do music.
Okay,
it was always for music.
Done.
Like, I like acting, but it was always for music.
Really? Even when you stepped on stage, you weren't like, oh, maybe I see a career in acting or
right.
life?
It was always music.
Wow.
It was always music.
Oh,
it was always focused on music, but I didn't really like the being a part of band that much. Because I'm more like the writing aspect of it than the actual music of it. You know what I'm saying? Like, obviously, I love the sound of music, but, like, obviously now I play an instrument, but, like, in the beginning, it was just really just writing my thoughts. You know what I'm saying? Because, again, it all stemmed from Doug. It all stemmed from journaling and all that kind of stuff. So I wanted to do music. I really wanted to do rap, you know what I'm saying, or sing, but it was always connected to writing. But I really didn't like being in band like that. So, you know, the stage was where it was. And when I graduated, I was going to go to Berkeley School of Music. Got accepted, didn't go.
Why?
Because I hated moving. I hated moving around so much. I hated moving. And when I finally got to LA, it was like, okay, this is where I'm at. Met some friends, skated. Oh, then I got on stage, started doing theater. Oh shit, you know what I'm saying? First girlfriend. Oh, you know, milestone, youngin' moments. Then it's like, now you got to go to Boston.
No, you're
like, oh hell,
you're establishing
nah.
some
I'm
roots.
You know what I'm saying? Now that I'm kind of getting here and situated, I was afraid to leave because it was the longest time I had been in one spot, and I always envy, you know, like how you said you grew up in one spot. And you know, I was in Culver City, and that's very like it's like small town in the middle of a big city.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yep.
You know, so that. You know, I felt a little bit of that, and I was like, man, you know, that hometown kind of, you know, I was feeling a little bit of that. I just didn't want to go nowhere. So I just posted up and, you know, started kind of getting into music, going to the poetry lounge, doing poetry.
Did you go to college here?
I didn't go to college.
Oh, you didn't go to college?
Nah. I went to, I went to Los Angeles Recording Workshop and like learned engineering and things like that.
Right,
but it was always like music, go hard. You know what I'm saying? Tried to go to West LA, just wasn't fucking with it. I just knew what I wanted to do. Like I so clearly could see it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I just jumped in. So you know, I just kept making music. But my homeboy Lawrence, I went to school with the homie Lawrence, who's like, you know, 1500 or nothing, like you know, geniuses. You know what I'm saying? So like I've known Lawrence since I was in 6th grade. You know what I'm saying? Also Bam Alexander plays drums. He's, you know, incredible. Like we all went to middle school together. So like they used to always, man, come to band, man, come to band. And I was like, nah, I'm doing this theater thing. Because I knew I wanted to be a front guy. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't really on the music type tip. But we used to play together and, you know, like we used to work a lot. You know what I mean? And
that's incredible.
So I always had that connection. You know what I'm saying? Like my connection to like the music side of it was always Lawrence. Cause like he was the one who was always trying to get me to come back to band and man, you don't play drums no more? Cause I used to play drums. I played drums, viola, violin, trumpet, and keys. I played all those instruments. Like pretty, I mean, decent enough to like gig.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like do, you know, it was fun.
Yeah.
But I mean, not like gig on a professional team.
No,
like, you know, when
like,
you're a kid, like
yeah.
I could, you know,
you
I could
were
go
able
to
to
recitals
play
and shit.
that.
I'm in. So like, every time I see him to this day, yo, man, you stop playing the drum. But I play guitar, so he give me slack. He cut me some slack now. But yeah, like then I graduated, started making music and.
What was that like? Coming from like drama to now becoming an artist, or were you rapping and performing in high school too, or was it? Oh, so you were.
I mean, they would have like little spring flings and things of that nature where they build a stage and I open mic, you know, kids come up rock and I'll do things like that. Rock with the homie Etai Shapiro, he plays bass. You know Etai?
Know of him.
Yeah. So like, you know, play with him and we all went to high school together.
Got it.
So we, you know, all came up together playing and stuff. So like I would do the live thing and then I was like, yo, I want to be a rapper. Hopped in full-fledged.
I mean, because jumping into being a rapper, like you also have to figure out what kind of artist you are. Like, what's your content? What are you talking about? What do you like? How do you, you know, what was that like for you coming after high school?
Well, it was really just more so figuring out how to do it.
Yeah, that's
you know, how to do it the best. Because it was really, for me, it was like figure out how to do it, then figure out what you want to say. So figuring out how to do it meant like learning and sounding exactly like the people you were listening to. You know what I'm saying? And then once you're like, okay, I know how to, now I can add my own, now I can dive into like what I sound like. Like in the beginning, it was Eminem, Tupac, Common. That's interesting. Was a big one, huge one. You know, I was listening, that's what I was listening to a lot. You know what I'm saying? Raucous, that whole early era of like Mos Def, Quali, you know what I'm saying? All of that. I was listening to all of that. So like I always was sounding like them, and then eventually kind of started like incorporating my own story, and then being so comfortable with just the ability that it was easier for me to insert a little bit of myself into it because I knew what I was doing a little bit more. Like the more I stole, the more I'm like, okay, I'm comfortable. Yeah. I know the styles. I know the multi-syllables from Eminem. I know the sincerity from Common. And now it's like, okay, now that I know how they did it, let me erase the board, forget everything that they did, because it's already just in me from me learning it. Now let me just do what I do. Yeah,
similar to like someone learning an instrument like a guitar or bass. Like,
right.
Say someone's learning guitar, they're going to learn Jimi Hendrix, Jimmy Page. Like, they're going to go through the list of great guitar players of all different styles, from like classic rock to metal to blues to jazz, everything. And then they're like, all right, what am I going to do? Right. You bring all those tools, but you do kind of like steal. It's just like, that's how you learn. You just, you play the songs you like, you learn the stuff you're into.
We're all inspired, bro.
Yeah, all inspired.
Yeah. And especially when you're at such a young age.
Originality is inspired.
Yeah.
There's really nothing original. We're just sharing. We're all one species. We're sharing the collective consciousness grid. You know,
and that's part of the arts, and that's part of music, is to inspire.
Yeah,
right.
You know,
and that flavor is stripping it and emulating, but through you. Like we're all emulating things that we remember. You know what I'm saying? We all like inspired by like, yo,
we all had our faces.
We saw somebody wear that and we're like, oh shit,
hell yeah,
can I pull that off?
Hell and yeah. They almost had me in one of them Tommy. Remember them Tommy wave caps? Almost. They almost had me. I think they had me in the. They definitely had me in the Cybertech. I
think I used to have
more money, more problems joint.
I think I used to have like a sky blue. Half sky blue, half white wave cap at one point.
Oh, shit.
Back when I wore the oversized.
You had the cape though? You had the cape though. See, Tommy was making them without the capes. They was like little beanies.
6XTs.
Oh yeah, for sure. Oh yeah, all day. I was 5X tall.
Middle of my knees.
Whoa.
What about for you, Ayo?
5X tall.
How was that trajectory into being an MC for you? Just coming from like freestyling, enjoying that, seeing your brother, and being among that, to developing your own craft.
Well, it was interesting for me because I actually got in through the internet. Like I started texting before I started actually like MCing.
All right.
So texting, yeah, it was a thing. I used to go to like forums, like it's one forum called Lyricist Lounge, or this other website called rapmusic.com.
Okay.
I used to go in there at forums and people would type, you know, you would type your raps out. There'll be battles, there'll be tournaments, there'll be like
message board style.
Yeah, message board style.
I remember those.
Yeah, so that's where I actually got into it because I started writing before I started rapping. You know what I mean? I used to, obviously, my brother, we used to freestyle. I used to play around.
Yeah.
But my real entry was through the words more so than rapping itself. And eventually, what happens, because again, I was really big into computers. I got the computer microphone, the old school computer microphone, the desktop joint that you put on the desk. Yep. It was like cream colored.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
for sure.
And I got
and it plugged in, had like the speaker cable type thing, where you just plug it into your tower.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly. And I had the recording program Acid.
Acid.
Wow. Yeah. Acid. I was messing with SoundForge.
Definitely on SoundForge.
Yeah, Cool Edit, but that was my first time recording to hear my voice. And I can't remember exactly which beat, but it was Primo Gangstar beat.
I didn't like my voice at all.
I was like, what is this? And for
a
long time,
I don't sound like the people I listen to.
For a long time, I did not like my voice at all. You know what I'm saying? It was a lot of times where people just say, you sound white. It's like, for real? It's very interesting. You know what I'm saying? But people have their own thing. But from there, it kind of grew because when I got to high school, I met other people, homies who was into, rapping and stuff. And I had the equipment. So from there, we just started making music and stuff. And started vibing, and we had this crew called the Fam.
Wait, this was after high school, or
this is during high school?
During high school.
During high school, yep, yeah. Well, the first homie I met was in middle school, and then we went to middle school together. Like we met like in 7th grade through 8th grade, 6th grade through 8th grade. Got through high school, met the other homies. We had a crew called the Fam. We was making music. I had the recording spot. I had the computer and all the setup because my mom worked for this company called Creative Labs.
Mm-hmm.
Creative Labs.
Wow.
Creative Labs used to make speakers and used to have software like for computers, like sound cards and like graphic cards and stuff. She used to always get like computer games for free and stuff because she used to have to. Her job was to go to like different like stores like Best Buy, Media Play, Fry's.
Oh wow!
All these different stores and like set up a kiosk and basically pitch the new product for Creative Labs.
Oh wow!
And so what they did was they equipped her with a tower, this computer, which was like super upgraded with the craziest graphics cards, fast as fuck. And they also gave her like all these games, which was like, Creative Labs had sponsored with like Unreal, like all these different games and stuff. But so I had access to a computer. I was always into computers. I was always in the internet, but because I was into music, I learned about recording programs, and I was on the recording program in the crew. So everybody would come over my crib, and we would record.
You were tapped in early.
We put out 2 mixtapes in high school. I printed out the covers on the printer at the crib on my mom's good paper.
Got to
for real.
The glossy,
the support system,
the glossy joint. Printed out a few of those. Did my first show maybe when I was like 17, 18 at some random spot. I think I messed up.
Oh yeah, I feel like we drove by that spot. When we went to Atlanta. He was like, "Yo, that's a spot that I felt like it was next to a strip club or something."
Yeah. It was right next door.
Perfect.
He was like, "Yo, that was the first spot I ever recorded at." And I drove by. I was like, "The strip club?" He's like, "No, it's the spot." Like
he just had these. I don't know. I forget how we got the performance there, but we just did a song over somebody else's beat. We just I used to have a gang of beats. I used to collect beats. Dope
Shouts
ass beats.
Out to K-Cam.
Exactly. Record songs and just put out mixtapes, just whatever, And also at the time, had the fake IDs. We had the fake IDs. See, Georgia IDs, the letters, like the date is in red. So this shit did not work at all. But what we used to do was like I had the printer. I used to print out a red, like 0, to add to my, and I
tape it on.
I cut around it meticulously around the little 0, and I pasted on. We used to go around and try to use that as fake ID.
Did it ever work?
Nah, but you know what I'm
saying? But the thought counted.
But they was like, but bouncers. We went to the strip club and he looked at it. He was like, and he just let us in. He was like, he's creative. He's creative.
Yeah, they really want this.
Exactly.
They really want
to see the booty.
Exactly.
But from there, that's how I kind of got into music and stuff. And from there, because I was getting, I was just interested. I was interested in music and writing and rapping, and then I got into recording because I had the computer, so I found out software. And from there, after I got out of graduated high school, because I told you had to go through summer school, night school. Basically because I just wasn't really engaged in high school. So afterwards, like, what do? I spent like a year and a half, 2 years, get that. Year and a half, 2 years, kind of just. I lived in this apartment with my homies. It was 6 of us in a 2-bedroom apartment. I stayed in the living room. I took the couch cushions off the couch and put it on the floor and made a little bed on the floor and stuff. My homie he did the same shit on the other side of the room. But eventually I decided I wanted to go to school for engineering, studio engineering, you know. And this is around the time where, you know, I was on Yahoo Chat and I met TiRon, you know.
How'd that happen? What was that interaction?
Well, this is like early social networking, like Yahoo Chat and chat rooms, and
y'all both on that.
Yeah, there used to be like on Yahoo Chat they had these like themed chat rooms. So we used to go to this chat room like called Freestyle. It would be, you know, you can make your own chat room.
It was like back when you could talk on the microphone.
Oh yeah,
I remember those.
It was like, oh, I can actually talk to people.
People just talking shit too.
Getting in, yeah. You know what I'm saying? Just lock the mic down and just talk hella shit.
Yeah, there was this trick you could do where you could like press, because there was a button in the chat room that you press to talk. But there was this trick you could do, like I feel like if you hold down shift and click at the same time or something, you could lock the button and nobody else could get on the microphone. So people just talking shit and just hold down the microphone. You'd be so mad.
Wow.
But then they had like these little codes and shit where they could like boot you out of the chat room, and it's like,
oh yeah.
So yeah, we met there because I used to go there and freestyle and battle, and he would go there. He wouldn't.
I wouldn't battle. I was making songs around that time because the homie Mr. SOS, he played this song for me. He was like, yo, I want to play something. You know, we was all kind of like rapping, and then he played me a song, and I was like, fuck my raps. You just made a song? Wow. And you rapped over somebody else's beat, made a chorus and everything. You stacked your vocals. I was like, I want to do that. Once I found that out, it changed the game. Like, once I learned from someone else of like, there's levels to it. Like, cause at one point it was just like, I just spit my verse, spit the hook, and that was it. And he was like, no, there's stacks, there's B sections, there's this, there's that. He kind of like really kind of, cause he did it, and he had this song called If I Was President. And like he played it, and I just remember all of the girls was just like, send me that song, send me that song. And I was like, damn, because really that's what it was. Like, for me, it was like getting online and talking to girls, period. That's what it was.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I was talking to these girls. Oh, let me see a photo. You know what I'm saying? It was that. It was that.
That was
you know
that era. That was what it was like.
It was really talking to girls. It was like the party line. On the
low key, there was some perverted shit going on there. There was some shit going on online.
Of course.
You know what I'm saying?
Always, yeah.
I was talking to some grown ass women. You know what I'm saying? And there was, you know,
of course
it was
you
like,
were though.
if you really
you
like,
over there like
look
what?
at it objectively.
Yeah.
You know?
So when you guys met online, was it through a freestyle or a rap or?
Well, like he was just one of the names because his name was Brixties the Great. So like he was every time like it was a cipher, he was in it and he was killing, and he was Brixties the Great.
Brixties.
And the fact that it was Brixties the Great.
There they go. What up? Brixties the Great though.
What was your name? He's like TiRon.
Eyes Wide Shut.
Okay.
Something like that.
I feel that.
Tyler
like that.
Alias.
Yeah, well, that was a rap name. That wasn't like my screen name.
I feel like it was one time, though.
Nah, like my screen name was always affiliated to what like the crew that I was in. You know what I'm saying? And I was in a group with DJ Matter Siegel. Went to Beverly. Wow. I was in a group with him. He was the first introduction to like a DJ that I ever knew. Yeah, for sure.
What?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
It go that way anyway.
I had no clue.
Yeah, we were like
this was early
my
on?
first entrance to like vinyl and all that kind of stuff comes from Matter Siegel.
Oh wow.
Yep. For sure. Without a doubt, 100%. And
That
like
is crazy.
and because he was a little bit older than me, so like I just lost my mind
Shout
in
out to
all of what
Matter.
he knew. And he had this garage in the back of his crib on Lapeer.
Of course.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And he had hella records, and I
had
could
no
geek out.
clue.
Yeah.
Matter's one of my very good friends. He was on the pod.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is crazy. I had no clue.
Yep. My first ever performance, anything like I'm a musician, like feeling like a musician, comes from him.
Wow. That is crazy.
Yep.
I didn't know that.
Him and C-Cut. Shouts out to C-Cut.
The podcast is in pairing.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah, man. Like, you know.
I love this small world shit. That is great.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Because worlds definitely collided. And I didn't know that,
sure.
you know, because I thought you actually, I mean, it's going to take it up some years and we'll get there. But because I heard of you first through Oren.
Yeah. Oren, I met like well after all of that. Like my first
That's down the line.
experience to like, you know, going to San Diego State University because he knew the homie Ian who was going to school there.
Yeah.
You know Ian?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Campbell?
yeah.
Yeah.
Ian was going to school down
Yeah.
there, and we would go down there and rock with like he would like
Nader, me and Noah had Noah King.
Yeah.
We had a group and we played at San Diego State.
right. Yeah.
The worlds
Like,
collide.
Life.
Ian opened the door and like kind of would always be that I miss that dude Ian. I haven't seen him in a long
Great
time.
dude.
But like
that's an overall great crew.
yeah, man, it was just it was tight. And yeah. So like a lot of my early, you know, moments kind of come from working with Ian Ian and Matt.
Oh wow.
And you know, then it just kind of kept growing and kept growing.
And
but like
this is like pre.
this was like
Bubbly.
I was working with like Matt before I knew AO. You know what I'm saying? Because like AO came out in like 2005 or something like that, 2004, and like I was working with Matt like while I was in high school, like fresh out of high school.
Oh
So
wow.
you know, and then he moved down, and then it became like we just like I was making songs because I heard this dude, Mr. SOS, he made a record, and the girls was going crazy, and I was like, okay, let me, I could do that, you know what I'm saying? I'm
Yeah.
a good writer, so like I started doing that, and when we were in chat rooms together, he was freestyling, but I was playing songs that I was doing.
Oh.
You know what I'm saying? So like instead of getting on the mic and rapping, I get on the mic and rap my song.
Yeah.
So I'll, you know, it's not about showing you how dope. It's like, nah, this is a vibe. Watch, I'm about to show you.
Yeah,
So that was kind of my thing. My thing was always like when I was in the chat rooms was just to like play people my songs. And just to kind of get a feedback on, is this dope or not? And is this, you know, it was being able to kind of publicly
And this was
test
that
it.
era. Like this is like.
Oh yeah, the chat room era is crazy.
Yeah.
When did it become out, you know, into real life when you two actually like met in person?
I mean, just over years of being online and like kind of knowing each other, he moved out here. And at that time, it was like if anybody from anywhere that you knew online is anywhere near you, it's like, yo, let's link up. Because, you know, internet was kind of like a small world at that point.
And the internet was really bringing creatives together.
Yeah.
Why'd you
Like the
for sure.
blogosphere was really starting to blossom like after
It was
that.
like, right after that.
Right.
Yeah.
Why'd you move to LA?
For school.
Oh,
because when I decided I wanted to get into engineering, there weren't many options. There was like Full Sail in Florida.
Yeah.
And then where I went was Expression College for Digital Art in the Bay Area in Emeryville, which is like this small city in between Oakland and San Francisco. So for me, I was like, okay, Florida's like right under Georgia, but I want to do something like, because, you know, I always had this like adventurous spirit, like, and I was also because I spent time between both my parents, I developed kind of like a solitary, independent kind of temperament, you know. So with that, I'm like, I want to go out to Cali, you know. So I decided to go out to that school. The school wasn't accredited, you know. It was kind of like low key recluse. The teachers were like, they came from the industry, so they weren't necessarily like structured and strict and formal teaching. It was more so like,
this is up in the Bay.
Yeah, in Emeryville. This city called Emeryville, which is where Pixar is located. It's in between Oakland and San Francisco. So I went out there, and then like, you know, prior to that, before I had moved out there, TiRon and I had already been talking on Yahoo Chat. You know, we had already knew each other and been in the Yahoo Chat. You know, so when I moved out there, I was like, I'm out there. You know, he's like, roll down. You know, took the train, hopped on the Amtrak.
Yeah.
You know, down there 8 hours, which is
It's
crazy.
So long.
Crazy.
The train. I took the train once doing that. Like it was actually from here to up
They don't be stopping nowhere. Shit ain't scenic or nothing. You be just on there. Shit be looking whack. You be like, yo, what's up?
So long.
So long for no reason. But it was cool, though. It was cool. It was, it was like, tickets was like, what, like $72? And like, they weren't like a lot, so. Yeah. I fuck with you, Amtrak, Let's do something. Let's do a tour, Amtrak. Let's do a music tour, nationwide. What's up? Nah, but, yeah. So I took it down there. Met him. I just remember I feel like I got robbed the first time I visited.
Really?
It's a hell of a LA experience.
Welcome to LA, huh?
Because I was it the first? Yeah, it was the first time.
That was the first time?
It was the first time.
What happened?
Crazy.
And then, because I got to Union, and then from there, you take the bus, it take you to Fox Hills. Mm-hmm. So I'm chilling in Fox Hills,
which is silly in retrospect, because you passing me to go to.
It's really, but at the same time, it's my first time there.
Yeah, he never.
All this shit is alien.
Yeah,
this shit is
in
alien.
Retrospect, there was no retrospect.
Exactly. Right. I'm downtown Union Station. I'm driving through downtown. I'm like, the concept of downtown. I didn't really get it until I was leaving again, and I came back and I was like, wait a minute, so this is where I was at. Because you see things the first time, and it's like
you have no clue.
Right. I was working at Macy's at the time, so he met me. He came and met me when I was at Macy's because I was just getting off work. I was like, yo, just roll through to the work spot. And I was working at Fox Hills Mall at Macy's.
I remember it was dark outside and I was standing outside on Slauson.
Yeah. Who need a size?
It was dark outside.
What you need?
I was standing outside on Slauson because I got off the bus and I was waiting on him because I told him what the deal was, whatever. And I remember he came down the street. It was Slauson and West. I was standing on Slauson and West. That's where the bus stop was at. He came down the street. He was wearing black sweats, baggy ass sweats, black baggy ass sweats.
Probably a do-rag.
Black do-rag, white tee, smoking a Black and Mild. I remember that shit. I remember that shit forever. And then
that was the style back.
That's incredible.
that was the style.
Niggas is vegans now.
Stupid. That's funny.
And then and then come to find out, this crib is just right across the street. You know what I'm saying? And and then you live out here long enough to realize that Fox Hills is right down the street.
Yeah,
you aren't even that far.
And then you coming out here, obviously I knew Lawrence and the homeboy, Marlon Cords, who's one of he's one of the greatest. Mm-hmm. Period. But
that was a hi-hat close though, you know what I mean?
So and we used to have these things called a press play parties. Press play parties was like I knew a bunch of people, Marlon knew a bunch of people, and Lawrence knew a bunch of people. It's like, yo, we know a bunch of people in LA who do music who are all great. Let's have this party, get them all together, and everybody presses play on their music, and it's more of a networking vibe. Yeah. This is way back in, and the first press play party, BJ the Chicago Kid was there.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Chicago, rest in peace, was there. Brian Warfield, who's obviously Fisticuffs, he was there. No, you was at the first one. You was at the first one.
Wow.
You was at the James Fauntleroy. He was there. James was rapping at the time, and incredible. One of the dopest rappers
ever.
We know. Him and Tunji.
Yeah,
they up there. Yeah. Him and Tunji, as far as on some rap shit,
crazy, unreal.
Period.
Level. Yeah.
So we used to have these things called press play parties, and that's how it kind of became him getting down here really and knowing kind of what was going on down here.
Just shout out to the robbery because I forgot that. You know what I'm saying? I actually found the culprits and I was like, you know what, bro, that was wrong. I'm gonna give you a citation. You don't need to deal with this because what you experience on your first time here, or the first press play here, that was the first time that ever happened, y'all. You ready? But shout out to the first press play.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
in how many
Incredible.
creative geniuses, including
Sticks.
yourselves.
Yeah.
Bro, that's
1500.
that's
Lorenz,
in its
Thundercat.
infancy though. That's in its infancy.
It was crazy.
Yeah.
What was that vibe like
Lady
for
G,
y'all? It
now
was-
Jizzle.
And the thing, I was visiting out there, so like the
Shouts out to
experience to
Jizzle,
me, it was
killing
like,
it.
Shouts out to Jizzle, killing it.
Yeah. I knew her when she was 16. Murdering, always been amazing.
yeah,
You
she's
know what I'm
always
saying?
been very
Always.
And I met her through, it's like we were just meeting everybody.
Just think of this community though, right? And think of that landscape because what year did the press play start? This had to have been like
04, something like that. And then I was at 1500 Studio, which used to be over there by Exposition.
Oh yeah.
And
The
La
studio.
Brea.
Yeah.
Right over there, Exposition and La Brea. They had a studio over there. It was Ron Jeremy's old.
That's Sophistica Studio.
Right, that was the Fist Cup studio. But before that, it was 1500 nothing studio.
Oh,
and because Brian used to engineer and work with them.
Got it.
So like they were all in that same little area. And I remember, he played Lamar Edwards, Mars 1500 nothing. He played Pac Div, and I had never heard. And he played like Act Like You're Chilling and some other shit, and it was just like, what? Who the fuck are these kids? Like, yo, these kids from they from Palmdale, because I think him and Swift work together a lot. But shouts out Swift D. But like, yeah, and then that's how I found out about all of them, and then we were trying to trade some. Then me and Likewise from Pac Div found out that we loved Dilla a whole lot, and this is back when we were all studying Dilla. Then he drove all the way from Palmdale to meet us down here just to exchange Dilla beats that he had.
That's crazy,
I had Dilla
man.
beats that he didn't have. Rest in peace, Dilla. It definitely wasn't on no like stealing stuff. We just were fans, and we were just super fans. And then he drove all the way down from Palmdale to meet up with me, and we traded Dilla beats and just linked up. And then he told me about Blue. And then I found out about Blue and all that other stuff. And me and Ayo had a blog at the time because we were making music, but we just didn't know how to like get it out.
Yeah.
So we were like, man, let's just make a blog. So we had a blog called The Exactly. And we used to say exactly all the time. So
Exactly.
yeah, we used to always say exactly. And we were like, well, we don't want to put out our own music on this blog saying that it's us. So we Googled a picture of this dude named Zach Lee. He felt like he was a lawyer, old 50-year-old white dude, cul-de-sac. And the homie redrew him, and he became the mascot for the website.
Wow.
So his name
Shout
was
out to
Zach
Seth
Lee.
Henderson.
So every article we wrote, everything that we wrote was from the perspective of like a 54-year-old dude.
Yeah.
But it was about like hip hop.
But it was but
crazy,
they
Did I
like,
not realize
cultural
though,
stuff.
that was
like,
your guys' blog?
you might not have.
Yeah.
I can't even remember because I know that fucking blog. Like everyone knew that blog. Like there was a set amount of hip hop blogs.
Like
that you
it
went
was
to.
us, Two Dope Boys, Perfection,
Okay
Not
Player.
Right.
This was
Not
literally
right,
the
yeah,
inception.
Not right.
of
Yeah,
blogging.
this is how we all kind of
like,
know
we
them.
in this community.
we put out the first blog mixtape.
For
I feel y'all.
Miguel was on it. Drake was on it.
Theophilus
London.
Christian Rich.
Shouts out.
Pac
Stop.
Div.
Yeah.
I can't
Diz
remember.
Gabron.
BJ the
Stop.
Chicago
BJ the
Kid.
Chicago Kid.
And it was like the first. It was
Yeah.
like as far as like on some blog shit. It was
Exactly.
like it was the exactly.
Exactly.
And we was sneaking our shit in there too because it was like
Exactly.
we knew
believe that,
all of this amazing music that was out, but we
And
knew we
DJ
had-
Haircut mixed it.
who's Mayor Hawthorne.
And it was like as the time of like the blogosphere was just blooming.
Yeah.
At that time,
Right.
it wasn't like crazy oversaturated. You just had like your handful of go-tos,
Right.
and that was it.
Right.
You know.
For sure.
I would
And
say
the
that we were
tapped-innedness,
one of them.
bro.
Yeah.
For a quick second.
That's a word.
There's
the
more.
tapped innedness of it, like so many young creatives. You know what I'm saying? The tapped innedness.
That's a T-shirt right there. Man.
For real.
Tapped in this.
No, but like
Straight up.
so many young this is like elixir right now. You know what I'm saying? This is the waterfall that like motherfuckers thought it was a mirage and it's real. Like the community was so robust at this point, and this is early. Like we all see it now.
Yeah,
right?
Straight up.
Like once press play, once the button was pressed and it was play, like seeing the blossoming of this community, and seeing at the time at which y'all were at, in not only your own creative entities, but also like the formation of what it's going to become, regardless. Like, it's incredible.
Yeah, it was fun. It was a fun time. It was fun because it's like, you know why it was so dope? It's because it was like, wow, this dude is incredible. And I never knew he existed. You know what I mean? It was just, you were just blown away by how many talented people were out there, but you just didn't know it. You know what I'm saying? It was like a whoa. Yeah. It's
so
for sure.
It's so wild to me that like it ended up becoming in the cafeteria and in line, right? Because like I'm about to lose my mind real quick.
Go for it.
Right.
Jump out the window.
Bro, I just like finessed out the window. I jumped to
Bob
the whip.
Fosse stepped out the window.
The top down, I don't know who car it is, but we here. But it's crazy, like, just looking at it, like, from a life perspective. Like, that's school in general, right? Or any building we in. Like, there's so many creatives around us. There's so many classes that we'll never be in, but, like, there's so many creative people and entities. But like when we all get together, when it's lunch or when it's recess, right? Like we all get together and exploring each other's abilities and talents and whatnot happen.
Yeah.
Right. At the end of the day, we all in line. And we trying to eat.
It just goes back to like just wanting to know or wanting to learn from somebody else.
Absolutely.
You know? If like you do that at recess, because you might have a class with this person.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. You might have a class with that person, but you still, can talk to them about something else.
Yeah,
and I think that's kind of why the press play parties were so dope for us, because it was like I just found out about like R&B, because I knew about R&B on like one level, and that was like what was coming out and what people were releasing. But to see I don't want to call them amateurs because they were never amateurs, but to see people do an R&B, you know what I'm saying? Like, because to me, I'd seen people do rap and make songs, but then to know somebody who was doing R&B music was like, what? Because you heard R&B on the radio, but you know what I'm saying? It was just, that's like some out the park. Yeah. I believe I can fly type shit. But when you can see someone and they do it, oh, you really sing. Oh, whoa. Yeah. Then it like blew your mind even more. It's like, whoa, there's a lot of people who are incredible at what they do, and I don't do it at all. Yeah. And it just opened my mind. It opened my mind to the possibility of just, how dope people were.
What was that like? Because like y'all were,
and even hearing about Ty and Corey and like all those dudes.
Oh, what was that like for y'all? Because y'all were tapped, like this Los Angeles culture was tapped in so early to one another. You know what I'm saying? Like it was just always brewing. What was that like for y'all during those times, growing as artists yourselves?
It was exciting. It was like, because we were fans of everybody.
Right, for sure.
I think that's what was dope, is that we were fans with people that we knew. We were fans of people that we knew.
Right.
So it was like, man.
Yeah. It's community.
It was community.
It didn't feel like pressure to like, it was just like, yo, this is who we are. This is what we're doing. We doing it. You know what I'm saying? Nothing more than that, and stuff just comes from that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It wasn't about we doing this because of something, because we have to do this, because we have to prove it. There's not, you weren't even thinking about it. You just
it wasn't really even about money or being popping. It was just to press play on the homies and geek out.
You know,
that's really what it was. That's all it. That's all it ever was in the beginning. It was just to pull up on the homies and be like, "Yo, I got this new something." Yeah. Not because I'm gonna put it out to the world, but because I just want to make the homies smile.
Yeah,
or I want to make the homies geek out. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like, yo, look at this crazy beat I made, or you know. Yeah. And I feel like that's what the press play parties were. I mean, it was on some networking shit, like if you were in that realm. But I feel like a lot of us were just, you know, it's like one big cipher. You get with the homies and you cipher, but instead of ciphering, we press and play on each other's songs.
And bro, like the beauty to me is like just looking at it from a standpoint of function, right?
Right.
In that moment, y'all were kids.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Just free as shit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Money don't matter. Like it was just like y'all, we all dreaming.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It was free.
The conundrum of life.
It was free. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like even, it was always just, you know, and then I met Tunji because Tunji was doing soul sessions.
That's where I met Tunji.
Soul sessions?
Yeah.
Right. On Vermont. North Vermont?
Fidodo.
Right. Oh.
Yeah,
see, I was when he was at on North Vermont over there by where Fat Beast used to be.
On North Vermont.
And Sunset?
That was
something like that.
Yeah, that was a little after Fidodo.
Right.
Yeah. I remember you there too.
Yeah.
Because I met I went to Fidodo with Noah, and it was like probably the third or fourth soul session. Nobody was there. Tunji was on the stage rapping to like 6 of us in the crowd.
Yeah.
Hosting the thing. He was the host of it.
Lit.
And what was the guy's name? James, or the guy who put it on? I forgot his name.
I'm not sure.
I forgot his name, but Tunji was hosting this, and it was like you got up and would freestyle, and Noah went up and freestyled, and then I went up and freestyled. Like, I don't know. That's just what everyone's doing, you know? But to take it back to like, even like going your press play parties, so it immediately made me think of soul sessions, and it's the same kind of vibe. Like you're just a part of this community. You go to this thing. It happens like every other week, and all your friends are there.
Right.
But everyone's trying to you know, be a rapper. Everyone's trying to do music. Everyone's doing their thing, but it doesn't feel like that. It just feels like we're
like
all
workshop.
Yeah, we're all just doing this, but this is part of like our life. We're not trying to be this.
Right.
We are this.
It wasn't about being the best. It was about doing it.
Yeah, and
it was about being
a part of something, and participating in it, and it was just something you did. It was like, we're going to soul sessions. That just
right.
You didn't have to ask, hey, what are we doing tonight? When it was that's what you did.
That's what you did.
You knew
Boombox too. Boombox and you know, Chinatown. Shouts out to Inca One.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
that's
like,
right. Because that came after. Yeah,
that's still going, still holding that, and still killing these parties too. Still be having some big turnouts too.
Yeah,
so like
staple.
Yeah, that's a staple in LA for sure. But like,
Shouts out.
Boombox,
Chinatown.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, like that was. It was just like it was a community.
Yeah,
you know
it was
what I'm
a
saying?
community.
It was. I mean, it is a community, and it's always been a community.
Always.
You know? But it's kind of nice to see, even when it was at rehab at the pit, you know, and Styx was hosting, and you know, Duke Gutta and all of them was down there, and like it's always been like, or Project Blow, be it No Can Do, and like, you know, everybody who was down there killing it.
Even the Poetry Lounge.
Even the Poetry Lounge.
Poetry Lounge
Shihan and all those dudes.
Yeah.
You remember that one time we was at that spot downtown? I forget what that club they got shut down. The big club, big ass club.
Keep going.
We went there for Halloween, but Styx was performing that one time we went as well. And he had the marching band that came out.
Oh yeah, that was the place where the boy got stabbed at Chris Brown shit. For New Year's. What was that?
Started with H, right? Or something like
Fuck, what was the name of that spot? Okay, there was a spot in downtown. You know where the Mayan is?
No.
The Mayan is like off Olympic, I want to say.
The Mayan.
It's like Olympic and Broadway.
Oh, this is gonna kill me. Tunji would know it.
Start with an H.
Nah. It was like, that's gonna bother me. It's like the something club or some shit like that. Something, whatever. Yeah. This is gonna bother me. Whatever.
We came on.
Yeah. And I feel like Ghostface had performed there once. Or something.
Maybe I know we went there for Halloween one time.
Did you move down to LA eventually?
Yeah. After I graduated, maybe like a year after I graduated, moved down in 2008.
Okay, so that's a good like 4 years later.
Yeah.
So were you coming down like once a month or every weekend or just sporadically?
How many times did I come down? Like, I do remember at some point. I remember coming down a few times. At a certain point, I got the rental, and I was driving down there. I used to work at Warner.
Oh, okay.
I remember giving rides to work as well. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I maybe came down there maybe like 4 times.
Okay.
If I'm thinking about it. Then eventually moved down there. Stay with him. For music, just started making music. The first thing I think, like the first day I came down there was for the Pac Div video.
Crash Mansion.
Hey.
Yeah. Super focused. He's like,
no, like I saw it build up too. He was like,
exactly.
he literally rolled up to the mic.
It was just.
Got it.
That was gorgeous. That was absolutely gorgeous.
That was good.
Yeah.
So when you guys started doing music a little more seriously, was it like a conscious thing or did it organic? Like you guys were doing stuff, but was there a moment where you're like,
it was organic for sure.
Okay. Yeah, to the point where we just didn't know a lot of the business shit that we were supposed to know.
Because both you guys were solo, right?
Yeah.
So solo and like maybe featured on each other's stuff, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So what was that decision to be like, yo, let's really form this together and create these dope?
Well, I mean, it's because we have been making songs that kind of had like a running theme, like everyday man music is what they kind of like say we made at the time, which we do, you know what I'm saying? So we kept on making songs like Sydney and My Wingman and Me, which is about like I'm playing his wingman to help him pick up a girl, so I gotta like talk to the ugly friend, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so he
right.
could,
We just always had we wrote these like quirky songs, and it was like a lot of the most fun songs that I was doing was with him. So I was like, man, let's just do an album full of this and dedicate it to women. And that's what we did.
Oh, wow.
So it was like A Sucker for Pumps it was like all of the in-between shit. Like instead of the I'm going to give you the sun, the moon, the this and that, and fuck money, get bitches, let's talk about all the shit in between. All the gray area stuff. So like
interesting.
Everything that makes it one way or another.
Right, exactly. And so the album plays like a breakup. So and we were just making all these weird kind of cool songs, and we bounced off of each other and fed off each other so well from doing the blog and like just making music together that it just ended up into being an album.
Yeah.
What was that process like for you? Like I see 2 completely unique human beings, right? And creatives. Like what's that process like, especially early?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because like the both of y'all have such established energies that I could naturally see how they fuse, right? But like, what's that process like for y'all? Like in the beginning of that, and especially during the creation of The Sucker for Pumps, right? Because it's like it's almost like honeymoon period, right? You know what I'm saying? From a creative scope, like what was that feeling like? Like what was that vibe?
Whatever made us laugh.
Yeah.
Whatever made us laugh. Really.
Yeah.
That's the best, man. Because the pressure's off. I think it's like when you're going as a solo artist and you're working that grind so hard, it gets so fucking serious, you know. And you kind of lose the reason why you're doing this because you're trying to push your careers forward so hard. Then when you just have this one thing where you guys can bounce off each other and laugh, man, and it just be free. Yeah, some of the most like crazy stuff. There's no pressure.
Yeah,
it makes you even think back to like the original scope of like art or music. Like art in the beginning and design is very individual. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And like, it's beautiful to start seeing like community develop and the waves of community and the layers of community that are building through this process. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like internally in the scope of growing up, or like naturally being a part of something in a chat room with the community. Like,
I mean, well, even to Sucker for Pumps, you know, the people that was on it, like BJ the Chicago Kid, Thundercat, Yummy Bingham, or Dahi, you know, just a range of people that DK,
Odyssey,
Tiffany Goucher,
Iman Omari,
you know, Odyssey,
culture,
Odyssey, yeah. So it's crazy, just how people connect. You know, and it's not something that you can necessarily predict. You know, but we just always kind of just, I don't know. I guess we just always for us, we had a community, and we had just our tastes made us gravitate to certain people. You know, certain people that weren't necessarily like the most popping people, but was like, yo, man, you talented. Like,
absolutely.
You know, you're talented and you inspire me. You're doing something completely different that ain't really like out right now, but man, this shit's like, you know, crazy. You know, Tiffany Goucher is crazy. You know, she makes some crazy shit. You know?
Tips, for real.
The best.
You know?
Yeah, hands down.
Crazy.
Hands down.
For real.
Yeah. That's the beauty.
She just did Layla Hathaway's whole damn album, I heard.
Mm-hmm. Oh, wow.
Something like that. Omari, unless Omari was selling wolf tickets.
That's what I heard.
Shouts out to Tiffany Goucher.
Yeah, shouts out to Tiff.
Yeah,
for real.
Out.
So after that,
no, go ahead, baby. You took the words right out of my mouth.
No, I was just thinking. So after that first project, it's so pure and just fun and just like no pressure. Let's just have fun with it. After that, did it become more conscious? Like, hey, we should keep doing this. And what was the balance of that with also keeping the fun, but trying to take it to a more serious level?
I think after we did A Sucker for Pumps, we realized how many like tight people we knew that we wanted people to know about them too. You know what I mean? Like, because again, we come from a press play party, so it was really just community. Our whole thing was kind of always centered around community and just like trying to like, you know, tell the people who might have liked us about other people.
Even with the mixtape.
Yeah, so, you know, even with the mixtape, it was like, I mean, obviously, I'm not going to say it was completely selfless because obviously we put our own music on there.
Oh, sure.
But it was definitely like, yo, there's a vibe out here and there's a sound that, you know, at one point you would have just thought it was gangster rap. You know what I'm saying? You would have just thought LA was just on some gangster rap shit.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? And I feel like this was like, yo, LA is on some different shit. It's not just what you think it is.
Right.
So then we did the Hungry mixtape, which was like right after the A Sucker for Pumps. We did the Hungry, and the Hungry was us, Breezy Lovejoy, now Anderson .Paak, Sir, Tiffany, Schoolboy was on there,
Dahi,
Q was on there, Dahi was on there, James was on there. And it was kind of like just an amalgam of all the shit that we thought was dope, but like people might not have heard, or that something that might have flew under the radar. Because Breezy had dropped the OBE Volume 1, and like he put it out. So I was like, yo, people don't know this. Like, this shit is so amazing. I was like, yo, so like let me take one of these, let me take a couple of these and put them on, or let me put them on like the shit that we got, because we just did this album. It's kind of popping right now, so let's do a compilation to kind of let them know what the sound is, and like, because we're all tied to this Sa-Ra sound, Sa-Ra creative partners.
Breezy,
you know what I'm saying?
B, Anderson .Paak.
We come from that Dilla Sa-Ra explosion that happened, you know, around the time like right before and right after Dilla's passing. It was just like this explosion of just like craziness. Flying Lotus was also a part of that. You know what I'm saying? And so like we did this project called Hungry and like worked with, you know, all of these amazing writers and producers and just like kind of put it out like, actually, this is another sound of LA y'all might not have really been paying attention to, you know. So, and it was really just around like community, you know what I'm saying? Because I feel like it's not so much about me and Omari as it is about all of us. You know what I'm saying? It's all connected. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And sometimes being able to see that it's a community of people working is always more impressive than just seeing like a one-off.
Absolutely.
Like, okay, yeah, that's dope, but oh wait, they're dope. Oh, they're dope. Oh, and then it's like, okay, there's something else. Because at one point it was really like LA hip hop was just one thing.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? But then once you kind of started seeing it, and then it all was like, oh, you guys all kind of worked. Okay, so there's something in the water. Like, what's going on out here? And
it's a natural like scope of resurgence.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like when it's building and when it's bubbling and when it's becoming, it always gravitates towards a single focal point. But like there's a community behind all of this.
Yeah.
And I feel like LA is that prime example of
sure.
like you look back to those days, and for me it was like thrust into recognition around 2009, right? And you have all these different entities growing and glowing, and it's just so expansive. But regardless of who is one step or two ahead of the other, it's like during that time, it truly was community in the most purest of scopes. Because even the cats that were quote unquote on were like still in that.
There was definitely energy for sure.
Yeah.
There was definitely.
You know what I mean? It was like a little like flower garden in Berkeley, if you will.
Yeah.
You feel me? Like that type of just like empathetic love, but like just we're all growing.
Yeah.
And it's just so beautiful during that time. And also just so beautiful to that point of like, there's sparks that light fires, right? And communities, naturally, we all grow with each other. Like every seed and every flower. I wrote your fortune cookies fucking fortune with my flower. No, but like, it's so beautiful to see the growth, just because everybody grows and everybody experiences all of this nature and nurture again at different stages.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, these are all Polaroid snapshots. And like it's so beautiful to see like the trajectory of y'all's projects, right? And also looking, especially at where we are now, in looking at like the theme of them all, like dealing with people, because we're surrounded by all these creative people, and it's all about like bringing these energies together, because that's how we all create. You know what I mean? What was it like during that time making the project with all just the creators and just the friends that y'all were around at that time? That's
hilarious.
What the friends.
It was dope. It was hilarious. I mean, it was cool to just get lost in people's space, people to get lost in. We're all learning how each other works too, which was, I think, was very important. Is to see how somebody works and be like, oh, you do that?
Yeah.
And then they see how you work, like, oh, I never even thought to do that. And we're all like in this class together. It's like we take this class together and all these crazy students are in the same class. And we're all trading secrets, and you know what I'm saying, like doing songs together, and it was just like we're all just cheating off of each other. You know what I'm saying? But it was amazing. It was dope.
Yeah,
dope.
The energy was definitely great.
There's so many times I just wish it was a camera present to document half the shit that I would.
Sometimes, you know what? It's kind of cool to think that there's not, right?
Yeah.
Like, I think about that too. sometimes it's just special to live in like the memory of it. Like the fact that there wasn't, the fact it's just like keeps it a little more raw, keeps it a little more just like.
You had to be there.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah.
Those moments.
Man, I don't know, man. That should be tight if you get
For real,
That shit would be awesome if it was
He's like, shut up.
I'm glad it built up in you because I'm over here like.
He's like, shut up with your hippie ass. Like,
Try to let him have it. I try to let him have it.
If you could like fast forward and rewind your life and like look at that shit, that shit'd be crazy. You probably get some crazy perspective.
That's fun.
Like I'm talking about like after it's all said and done, you can look
Absolutely.
back at it all.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That'd be crazy. Yeah. You probably can. What do we know?
During the time within these two projects, right? Like, where was y'all's heads at? Just because at the end of the day, like, yes, it's so free, but it's also during a time where we're committing to like, look, this is what we're gonna do forever, and we're so down with that. But we also faced with like, okay, forever means I gotta be able to live to do this forever, regardless of whatever the acclaim and all that is. It's like when we decide it's forever, life becomes working around how we're gonna just allow ourselves, regardless of what the fuck it is, to do what we do because we know what's gonna happen.
Right.
How was that for y'all? Like, what was that like? Because like, I feel like one of the things, especially in this day and age, that artists and creatives that are on that path forget to think about, right? Or have like desensitized themselves from that aspect, is that even in this internet era that we are in right now, that road is still the same. Like things can pop off, but like that road of like, look, like we have a passion, and until that passion becomes living, right? Dreams, we do whatever the fuck it takes to go. And feeling wise, what was that like for y'all earlier on?
I think it's kind of like
it's
in and out.
Tell that story.
I mean,
Hold
like
on, tell the story. See, I love my.
We definitely worked. We used to work at the Container Store. Like we've obviously had like 9 to 5 little gigs and things. I worked in the mail room at Warner Brothers when Tunji was in that office. That's how I met J-Rock. That's how I met, you know what I'm saying, a lot of those dudes. Like there's obviously like little 9 to 5 situations, but I feel like once you're like, all right, I'm in, like for real.
Yeah.
It's just commitment, you know, and taking everything that comes with it, the ups and the downs, like the highs and the lows. It's because that's really what it is. You know what I'm saying? Like, because you can work a safe job 9 to 5 and, you know, have that consistency and have that normalcy, quote unquote, and do that. But then there's like us, we jump out the window. Like we're going to see exactly how well we can fly. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes that is what it is. It's the ups and the downs and the people that we lose and the friends that we're not friends with no more and all those kinds of things. Like, you know, that it's kind of one of those things that I wouldn't necessarily say that like we came to this decision like, okay, we're gonna do music. We were just so addicted to it that it just happened. Yeah. It wasn't like a clear decision. It was really on some like, wait, I make more doing music than I do working part-time at the Container Store, and y'all motherfuckers is hassling me, and y'all won't let me go do this show. When I called out for show, I called out, y'all signed on it, but for some reason I'm still on the sheet that I'm supposed to come in and work today, and y'all saying that if I don't come in, I'm fired, and I'm already in New York. Fuck y'all guys.
The messed up thing was he was the good employee. I was not good employee.
Oh, really?
And you would
really?
And you
really?
Not at all. Not at all. Like I remember one time. I mean, we was both faded. Both faded. One time, it was actually like
he fell asleep on the ladder. I saw you. He was on a ladder. He was on a ladder, like doing some, like putting some stuff up, and he fell asleep on the ladder. I'm like, dog.
Wow. We went out, you know, and we got super faded.
It's like we took a taxi to work. Almost positive we took a taxi.
I definitely drove.
Oh yeah, we took a taxi to the crib.
I think we got there. I think I picked you up from the crib. Because I was off doing, a thing. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you weren't being the
wingman. I was off doing a thing with the thing.
You weren't being the wingman.
Man.
He was just straight on with it.
Right. I didn't sleep at all that night. So, I got back. The thing was like, we stock shelves and stuff, and like Container Store has a very particular way in which you stock shelves, and you partner with somebody because when you get there, you have this little powwow, and the manager, there's like two managers, they come out and he probably had donuts inside the break room. Donuts, fire, man. Donuts, fire donuts. 5 in the morning, 5 in the morning. Donut, you want some donuts?
Oh yeah.
Hey, cool, y'all looking out for me. So anyway, you had a powwow, and then you partnered up, and you're giving sections, and like you're giving different partners, different shifts. And I just happened to get partner. I just happened to be partnered with one
the
of
managers. And he was faded. He was one of the managers. I feel like they partnered you with a manager because you were faded.
He probably saw it, man.
You know what I'm saying? Like, because the alcohol does come through the pores. So there's no way they didn't smell that.
But the effort, they had to appreciate the effort.
Right.
He's here. He's here.
Because I was.
It's funny. In a lot of respects, I miss a lot of that. I miss a lot. I miss a lot of the 9 to 5. I miss a lot of the working with regular people.
How so?
Just because when you work in the music industry, it's really a lot of personas. Mm-hmm. And it's hard to really get to the people unless you hang out with them a long time. Hang out with them enough, you know what I'm saying? For the most part, you're meeting, their representative.
Right.
Whereas when you're at, wherever, stocking shelves with whoever, it's like y'all all doing the same shit.
Yeah.
Y'all all might be into different shit. And
y'all have different pursuits, but y'all there for the time being.
Yeah, it's like, and you still have people who ego trip in their job. It took me a minute. Like, I used to really, there's this one woman that I worked with, and she was just the most rigid, most hardcore kind of person, and she was really on her shit. And it took, I had this moment, I was like, wait, this person, this is what they do for a living. I'm not going to do this for a living.
Yeah.
So I need to just let them take this shit seriously. You know what I'm saying? Sure. I can't get mad that they taking it serious. Like, they're taking it serious because this is what they do. This ain't what I do. Mm-hmm. So let me not be so, judgmental and all. You know what I'm saying? Like, let me respect. And that's when I stopped slacking off at 9 to 5s. Is when I realized that there were people who were working right next to me who really value their job.
Yeah, right. And it's their job.
It's like, and I know it's just a quick 9 to 5 for me, but they take it really serious, and I don't want to be a roadblock in their way. So whenever I worked somewhere, I really took it serious. I was the best at trying to, just because I wanted to cultivate that vibe of like, anybody who's trying to get better here, I'm not going to be the person that try to make you not do good. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to be the person to bring you down.
Right.
And AL wasn't either. He was just asleep on the ladder though, like just chilling.
You know what I'm saying?
Like, fuck all that.
You know what I'm saying? That shit fire too.
Nah, because managers, they had their power trips and stuff, and I ain't with that.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Nah, it's cool.
That authoritative.
Container Store is really tight, man. They have
Hell
some really dope products. Shouts out Container Store.
Shouts out to Tiger.
If you want to get your order on.
If you want to get your alpha shelving.
Yeah. Get your organization on. Man, hit up Container Store. They got you. Lifetime warranty.
For real.
But and then, so we worked out like little 9 to 5s, but it was never really like a decision of like, this is what we're going to do full time. It's just, we just ended up doing it full time because we loved it so much.
Yeah.
We just decided not to go anymore one day.
Right.
That's
respect.
Yeah. We just like.
Really, just one day you just were like, I'm not going.
Well, I was already in New York for a show.
Oh, and that was that, yeah.
Yeah, and like, I was getting crazy love out there. But meanwhile, on my phone, my manager's like, you're supposed to be coming in. If you don't come in, you're going to get fired. You're going to get written up or something like that. And I didn't even quit. I just never talked to them ever again.
Yeah.
Just didn't show up. I was like, well, the crowd is yelling and they love me. And Peter Rosenberg is like enjoying what I'm doing right now, and Angela Lee look good, so I'm not gonna come. I'm not coming back in. Like,
sorry, y'all.
The rap life, I'm on.
Yeah.
Well, not on, but I
absolutely
just felt good, and it felt better. And I was making about the same, so I was like, okay, let me keep doing it.
Yeah.
I think the minute that you find out that you're a little bit successful, you start to be like, maybe I don't need a 9 to 5 as much as I thought I did. Or at least let me test it. Let me try. You know what I'm saying? Let me see. You know what I'm saying? So.
And sticking with it too.
Yeah. Through it all.
Yeah.
Through it all. And then that's when you get to that point where it's like, okay, I could completely destroy my work history or I'm going to make this work. You know what I'm saying? Because that's really, those are the only alternatives. Either you haven't been working 9 to 5 for like 6 years because you was trying to do some rap shit, or you make the shit work.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Or somebody refer you, somebody can help you out later
we both
on,
know goddamn well y'all gonna make, like, the decision is make the shit work.
Yeah, it's and there'll be times that it works, there'll be times that it don't work. It's life. It's
always
what you do. You know what I'm saying?
It's always a figuring out.
Because I could be working, we could be working 9 to 5s and shit be working, and then shit don't be working.
Yeah,
right.
You could lose doing something that you hate.
It's literally all relative. Like you think of any gig. For some, it's working, and others it isn't. For some, they just have a cushion that they're just like withering in a cloud, and others it's not. Right.
Shouts out to Jim Carrey, because he said, like, you can be fired doing something that you hate, so you might as well lose to something you love. You know what I'm saying? Like, you could be working a job that you hate for hella long and then just get fired.
Yeah.
And it's like, so what was all that for? You know what I'm saying? So you might as well jump out the window doing something that you love. Yeah. Go hard. Obviously, don't kill yourself.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying? Like, this shit's real.
What's that road on Route 66 been like? Because y'all already jumped out.
It's been cool. It's been interesting. It's been ups and downs.
Let's go through that. Like, because that's a long road, and for many on that path, it's a long road.
You know what makes the road not as long? Reading.
Really?
You know, if you're on a road trip, read a book. Learn something on the way. If you're doing the same thing over and over, that's when you get stuck. But it was like, okay, let me try to learn how to play the guitar. Okay, let me try to, on this long road, I better learn some shit along the way, because I'm going to end up at my destination. I'm going to be asked out because they're going to require certain skills that I just don't have.
Yeah.
It's a constant learning process. It's like learning what's required, you know what I'm saying? Or like what you perceive to be required, or what the majority of people perceive to be required, which is like whatever the standard is. Like understanding that you could be dope at music, but there's a business aspect to it too. You know what I'm saying? And if those aren't aligned, then you won't make the headway that you want to, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So going through those learning process, you know, that's what it's always been.
Facts.
For, you know what I'm saying? Like,
you know what's wild? I want to interject, and I want to, like, I'm going to take over this chat room. I just control shifted fucking all y'all motherfuckers out right now. And I'm going to say this, right? It's gorgeous how different this sounds. And you ask somebody, oh, like, what you want to do music for, all this, like, what you doing, and they just like, I want to touch the world, and all this, and like, it's so glamorous. Right? Like, when you go through it, naturally, like, everybody makes it. Because wherever, like, their minds are, they're going to take it there. Time, it just is. You know what I'm saying? Nobody's going to dictate that. Like, we know what it is. Right. You know what I mean? Y'all got atom bombs ready. But, like, the beauty is this, is how honest and real it is. It's learning processes. It's learning more. It's adding so that we can be equipped.
Yeah.
Because when everybody gets that time, but if we're not equipped, then you lost that already.
Yeah.
Right?
And that's the craziest thing, is that you have to stop. At some point, you're going to have to stop lying to yourself and thinking that you're already ready, so you're just waiting for a shot.
Yeah.
It's like, no, you're not.
Nobody
you're not,
can
you're
wait
not
for a shot,
shot,
get it, and maintain it.
Keep learning. Keep learning.
Yes.
Learn as much as possible. It's only going to make you stronger. And that's kind of what we've been doing, is just just keep learning. You know what I mean? Like it's gonna get better. It's gonna get worse. That's life. Nothing is ever one way. Even when you look like you got it all, motherfuckers end up with addictions and all kinds of, manic depressive issues and stuff like that. So it's never, what do they say? Like, if you put your problems in a basket with somebody else's problems, you'll want your problems back.
Yeah.
It's that, you know what I'm saying? So I think that's probably the hardest thing about navigating through making music is comparing yourself to what somebody else is going through.
Absolutely.
But it's like you might not want what did Jay-Z say? He said he's like, you want it to be Bobby Brown, but to be Bobby then you gotta be Bobby now.
Wow.
Like,
for real.
Which is, shouts out to Bobby Brown. But
respect.
It's
because
like you gotta walk that path.
A lot of people love the thought of things.
Exactly.
Right.
But until you hear what it is,
and what it took to get it.
Yes, and that's why I can interject and be like, that sounds so beautiful, because it's like any artist, wherever like they are in their trajectory, even if it's a cat that's just starting, like just be curious and open enough to want to always learn.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like we have a conversation with K Rose, and like for him, one of the most beautiful things about our combo was for him, he was always going to be and was content with just being able to create music and make a living.
Mm-hmm.
It was like, if it happens, it does. Like his sole focus is on the craft, right? And as long as, and this is also coming from a family that his father is an incredible musician, but they had that talk, and it was like, look, like he wanted to be a session player. But everybody has their own thoughts of what happiness is. Everybody has their own thoughts of what the history of their pursuit is.
Right.
But like, we all find our own happinesses. A lot of us, especially early on, talk about the thought of what that is, right? But everybody has what it truly is for them.
Right.
If it's in the scope of themselves.
And it's never one way either.
Never.
There's gonna be some sad moments.
It's
like
just
no matter
open.
how rich you are going to experience a deep, dark pain. Like we're all gonna, like, it don't matter how high you are, how low you are, we all gonna experience. I mean, obviously there are some people who experience more of it than others, and more than they should.
Yeah.
But we all experience the same frequencies of what that,
and that's
that
humanity
right.
as a baseline.
Right.
You know what I mean? How has it been in these last few years? And I want to talk about like where we at now, because I feel like we're gonna get to this project that's coming up, and this is one of the very few times in this podcast that I actually want to talk about a project that's coming out, right? Because usually for us, this is like who these gorgeous entities and human beings are and what that road is, right? But I feel like for you two, it's so entrenched into the essence of us, right? And it means so much, right? Like all of these projects, all of y'all's like communities that are being built, all the way you guys see the world is so interconnected with how the world is in your scope. Take us through that journey of like these last few years and where it's come, and how you guys view this project now, because I feel like what's come is like a kind of full circle look in this moment at ethos. You know what I mean? Like, I just want to take a walk through y'all's shoes in this.
I mean, it's really like experiencing or having to deal with, you have a career, you know what I'm saying? You're supposed to do certain things in a career, and you expect certain things from a career, and you're working for a career. You have a team you're working with, you know what I'm saying? Y'all move in a certain way. and then you know, and then or maybe you have a team working with, and y'all moving in a way, and it's not been, you know, you're not moving how you feel you're supposed to move. How you feel you deserve to move. You know what I'm saying? And you know what I'm saying. So dealing with different things within the music industry and stuff, I feel like it forced us to reevaluate or rediscover, retap into why we got into this to begin with. You know what I'm saying? And you know, not focusing on so much on like, man, we gotta do this. Like, man, let's just put a whole bunch of songs out. You know what I'm saying? And because that's what's gonna get people.
Well, we've never been that. We've never put out hella songs. We've always been like surgeons and sitting back and like taking our time. Rest in peace, Dominic Trenier. He was our manager who passed away last year. He was D'Angelo's manager. He was Nick Acosta's manager. He was Mark Ronson's manager for a minute. He's responsible for I Believe I Can Fly and that whole Space Jam soundtrack.
Oh, wow.
You know, he's responsible for getting Jay-Z to write the verse that Bugs Bunny rapped on Buggin' on that soundtrack. He did the Blow soundtrack. He's really, really very good dude. Dominic Trenier, rest in peace.
Rest in peace,
you know, he used to just be on me, like telling me like for hours on the phone, just like getting in my head, like, yo, you guys should do this. You guys should, study all the greats, study Run DMC, look at all the, you should sample this. Like, he was that dude. He was like the source of like, yo, do this. Like, he's the one who helped us get the Levi's campaign that we did. You know, both of them. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. He introduced us to Mark Ronson. You know, we met Pharrell through him. And like, he was just like, he had like this young spirit, but he had done so much. Yeah. So he was around when the tunnel was popping in NYC. Like, he knew Puff. Like,
it's hard to find those type of,
you know what I'm saying? Like a real OG who like had that young energy, young spirit. He danced and all of that. But like, you know what I'm saying? So like, when we lost him, it was just like, you know, that was it. It shook me up. Because it was like, damn, like that was the one person who got me, who knew how to talk to me. Because I'm a very dominant energy. It is what it is.
What was it like having him? Like now that it popped up, y'all lost him, right? I want to get back to that. What was it like having him?
It was like it was having like a big brother who knew how to curb my enthusiasm. You know what I'm saying? Somebody that could like not put me in my place and check me, but let me feel heard and kind of understood. But also, I would listen to him and be like, okay, I don't know it all. I don't know everything. Like, it was like on some. It was a mentor. He was like a big brother mentor type.
What was that for you, Ayo?
Oh, I mean, same thing. Like in terms of like just the advice he had. He always, the stuff he introduced us to was always something thoughtful. It wasn't like, here, just come out to this because it's popping right now because ours is popping. No, it's more like, come out to this because it's popping, but it's also something that fits with something that
I know.
It was never random. It was always like based on belief.
Enjoy it because
it was based on like, yo, this is what I see, not this is what I think. Like, this is like he was very much of like, he was just tapped in always, tapped in, and having him here was incredible because like what was so dope about him is that he liked the ladies too. Right. Like, you know what I'm saying? That's what made it so fly was that we would go to Chateau Marmont and just clown. Man. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what made him so dope was that he was serious and he knew his craft and all that. Yeah. And helped us to understand our craft. But he liked the You know what I'm saying? He like women too. Sorry for all the women that might,
Shit. Like,
hey, I'm sorry. It's just like,
what you sorry about?
You know what I'm saying? Like,
don't we though?
Rest in peace. That's Dom Trenier. That's just, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? I hold him dear. Like, that was the one thing like that I realized about him is that he could operate in both spaces.
You have to though.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Especially for cats like y'all, like just even like siphoning off into managerial, like bro, like a manager isn't just gonna party with you. Like a motherfucker has to be able to be willing to kill for you.
Yeah.
And also get through to you.
Mm-hmm.
It's a fine divide. Like just like with y'all and fans, right? Like you're not gonna know exactly how to get through everybody, but you're gonna speak to what you experience and speak to them, right? Naturally, like your motive is to move, right? Because you feel like both of y'all feel, and managerially, like that entity, and especially somebody that experienced on the road, and as much as a youthful exuberance that they could have, but like to be able to connect with their artists, while also knowing that their presence not only allows their artists to have fun and be free, but also know that regardless of that, like they have somebody that they can look to and say, "Are we going to be good here?"
Right,
right. It's a beautiful thing.
He just had light. It was just a certain light. It was like whenever you talked to him, you knew that he believed in you.
Yeah,
and he spoke with that kind of so losing him was just like a dead space of just like, damn, we don't have that source anymore. Right. That source to tap into that's like, yo, I believe in you. Yeah. And I believe in you not because we homies and I'm supposed to believe in you, but like, no, like I see it. And this is how I see it specifically. You should do this and like somebody who could dream for you. That shit was crazy. Yeah. It was just like, yo, you
lightweight letting you know you're not crazy.
Letting me know that I'm not crazy.
You need that
and
as an
since
artist,
he's passed, I'll be like, I'm crazy.
But you're not.
You know what I'm saying?
You need like the validation.
And this ain't no A&E like speak to the
It's validate. I wouldn't necessarily say it's validation, more so that
comfort.
He had the light on. It's like my light turned his light on.
Yeah.
But it's comfort, bro. Yeah. And it's truly comfort in chaos.
Right.
Because that's what that position needs to bring.
Yeah. It's somebody who can...
Regardless of how on or not somebody is, it's always comfort. Going to be chaos.
Yeah.
Somebody who can center you and make you not so... Don't stress out so much.
It only gets bigger.
Right. Yeah.
Right? Yeah. All of that.
Yeah.
Ambitions, wants...
So like right when we were doing The Great New Wonderful, he passed right after that. Yeah. So like I was just, getting into the guitar and, kind of growing into who we are now. And it was like right at the beginning of that. And I remember like he was just like, yo, this is going to be amazing. This is going to be dope. Then he passed away. So it's kind of like,
but it was,
huh?
But it was,
yeah, definitely was.
Right?
Yeah. It was.
Let's
It was crazy. It was fun.
It was crazy.
I learned a lot, and we're applying it on this album. But I realized, like, since his passing, I've kind of tapped into a lot of, like, the ego, and realizing, like, because I feel like working with him made me kind of pay attention to my ego a little bit more, because he was such a centered, like he was the person that like could take you around all the Hollywood shit and let you look your ego in the face. You know what I'm saying? He's like, oh, you want to go to this person's house or you want to go to this? Oh, we can easily do that. But then like when you saw how he was the same through it all, I was like, oh, I might be able to do the same thing. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Dom was who he was with everybody. He was Dom. He was like a true that's who he was.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? No fronting. And that's kind of like, I feel like I kind of wanted to cut through a little bit of that. And that's kind of what helped us work on this whole, well, we had always been dealing with the ego since like 2013. After the Hungry, we were kind of tapping into like what the ego was and how damaging the ego could be, you know.
What were some of those thoughts?
I guess just worrying about,
have them. I just want to like bring them to light.
Well, worrying about what people think about you, you know, taking things too personal, you know, all of that kind of stuff. A lot of the stuff that eats at you and ruins the art for you.
Feeling superior to other people.
Yeah, I mean, you said something earlier too when we were talking about it, where you said, you know, at the end of the day, it's all fear.
Yeah.
You know, talk a little about that relation and kind of like how you kind of came to that.
Because well, the homegirl Juliana told me once, she was like, all emotions operate within love or fear. So she told me that. And then I just started like noticing it, you know, and I started to realize that half of the people who might have had like ill will or anything towards me or towards anybody, it didn't come from a place of like anger. Like it came from a place of like, I guess I just came to the understanding that everybody's ultimately doing their best. Regardless of whatever the fuck you think, everybody's doing their best.
We gonna understand or we not?
Yeah, like everybody's trying.
Yes.
Like nobody's waking up every day like, I don't want to be happy. Right. Everybody wants to be happy. You know, they struggle with being happy, but nobody's like, I'm about to wake up and I'm about to make this the worst day of my life on purpose. And I'm about to, you know what I'm saying? Nobody's doing that. And along those roads of them trying to make themselves happy, they might short side you, you know, on some selfish shit. But that's only out of fear that they might not reach their happiness.
Right.
So it's like if you look at it in those terms, you learn to not take it so personal, because it's like, damn, yo, they had good intentions because it was ultimately to turn their light on. But it just so happened to cut mine off. Now, yes, I'm upset, and yes, I'm super fucking pissed off about it, but I'm not going to like take it as like a personal vendetta that you personally did to me. You weren't turning off my light. You were just trying to turn yours on. You know what I'm saying? It's not like yours was on and you just want to turn mine off. And even if that was the case, it's because you're afraid that, you know, you're afraid. It's all comes from fear. It all comes from like
fear, insecurities.
And scarcity. Yeah. There's not enough. There can only be one. Like it comes from that. Like in order for me to be good, you have to be terrible. You know what I'm saying?
And superiority as well. The
superiority complex. In order for me to be good, you got to be trash.
Yeah.
So I'm a stun on you. Yeah. And I'm this and I'm that.
Well, it's very easy to make yourself feel good by shitting on other people. Yeah. It's like a very quick and easy way. Like, all right, let me see someone's lifestyle where mine's better.
And it's addicting. People do it online all day.
For sure.
Yeah, I mean,
but like, what are you really feeling good about?
Right. Yeah. I'm feeling good about a
lot
of things.
Yeah. Exactly. What do you
like you go shit on somebody like under the guise of something. Like you felt good for what?
Yeah.
You got a chance to exert some energy, some deep down energy that you was holding on to, that was due to something you experienced in your real life that you're unable to deal with there. So you take it out, you take it out online. Because there's no immediate,
It's just crazy the fallacy of that.
Yeah.
And we live in a weird time right now where like, because of social media, like for better or worse, it's just we live in the age where like you're showing your best everything. You're showing your highlight reel, and that's only, and like this is something everyone talks about. I don't know if it's a good or bad thing.
It's a thing.
It's a thing. It's just like that. That's what everyone's doing, but at the same time, there's like a weird competition that comes with it. Yeah. Maybe that's the ego of, kicking in of, man, do I have to like compete with all these people? Like, do I have to compete with these followers? Does this mean like I don't have this type of credibility?
Exactly.
Does that even fucking matter?
The wild shit is, bro, is like the ego is as finite as time is. It's just like, which one are we going to give more to?
Yeah.
It's all going to end. You know what I mean? Like, we naturally as human beings, like, we have to deal with these things, these thoughts, these growths, these development. But that's like the beauty of people. Like, we grow. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Nobody is perfect ever, from inception or not.
Right.
Like, we all learn from each other. We all learn from experiences, like, whether right or wrong, like, we're growing. You know what I mean? Yeah, pull that red lighter out, though. You know what I mean? we know it went back.
So when you
you feel me? We observant here. But no, I know you didn't know. But like, to be honest, I'm gonna let y'all in, like, in this last scope, because the beauty is, I was looking for my lighter, realized I didn't know where the fuck it was, and I had no idea where it could be. And the first time TiRon brought it out, I was like, "Oh, there it went."
Yeah,
mid podcast moment,
low key habitual.
You know what's wild though is that, like, this is the beauty of conversation, because even though we've known each other, even though we got up the other week, vibe, right? There's so many things within one another's lives we don't know. Mm-hmm. And it just naturally comes as we just grow and time passes. Right. You know what I'm saying? That's the beauty of all of this. Like, we're all people. The ego is very present. Mm-hmm. And definitely. I'll be very real. Like, we've gotten a chance to listen. And look, I'm an average ear critic. I can't give a critic, like, I'm not the Source magazine. But I'll tell y'all one thing. Like, the thoughts, the perspectives, the stories, and the creative genius that it's presented in is a gorgeous thing with this project, right? Man, like, thank you. It evokes so much thought. Mm-hmm. It evokes so much feeling, and that's the only way I could ever describe a music. Like, Oren used to always take me to 15 different locations, listen in the 3 different ways possible, and ask me what I thought about something. And I'd always tell him the same like, I'd always tell him one of similar things, like, yeah, no, I don't feel it, or it feels really good. Mm-hmm. I can't give him what he wants. Right. But he openly knows that. So he's going to take me through the producer chamber. But the beauty of it is that everybody's creating something special. Nobody themselves can dictate that. And the only people that really know it are the creators themselves. Mm-hmm. Everybody has judgment. That's an ego. Yeah. But the special thing is you guys are putting it into this world. Mm-hmm. The special thing is, like, your guys' music are touching people. Like, it's crazy when you think about teachers, right? They say, well, if I could touch one person, I've done my job. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Right?
Yeah. Right. It's the elephant in the room. I feel like it's a conversation that we're all having. Mm. It's like, why not just have it? Let's talk about it. Yeah. And not only talk about it, but show y'all that we're going through it too. So we're not, right. you know,
nobody's elite.
We're not teaching.
No.
We're experiencing and sharing.
We're speaking.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, we're speaking. Like, we are products of it as well. Like, we're all part of it. You know what I'm saying? Like, even though we might be doing this, we do that. You know what I'm saying? So nobody's one way, and, like, nobody's too perfect.
Yeah, it's definitely a vulnerable kind of place to be in. Yeah. So, when you could talk about that stuff, you have to have the ability to look in. That's where it starts. You got to look in, and then to realize it and talk about it, and not even maybe have the answers of, like, what to do, or just be like, yo, this is what's going on. This is what I've dealt with, right or wrong. This is just it's just this is just this. Right. It's just what it is.
In is far more limitless than out is.
Mm-hmm. It's kind of like a conversation starter.
True that.
For real.
Very real.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
I love y'all to death.
We love y'all too, man. Thank y'all for having us up here.
No, for real though. Like, both of y'all are such uniquely connected human beings. Like, uniquely individual and uniquely connected human beings. Like, it's beautiful to see y'all's spirit colliding. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's so much love I just have for both of y'all as people and as creators. And I'm gonna take this puff and just say this. It's an absolute honor to know y'all.
Man, likewise, bro.
True that.
Likewise, man.
Mibs, be young.
And I continue to enjoy y'all's growth as human beings and as creators, because y'all kings. You know what I'm saying? And I can't wait for your guys' constant creation to touch the world and push it.
That's the goal. That's the goal.
Shit, if it's the goal, it's already been done. But y'all continuing to do it.
Yeah. Just keep the conversation going.
Yeah.
You know, like, there's more to learn. I think that's really, what keeps it going more than anything is not that we have a lot to say, but we have a lot to learn.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? There's so many different places in the world that we haven't seen yet.
We haven't.
That we haven't shared our conversation with, and then gotten the response like, oh, okay, so this is what you got from it. This is what you learned. Now I'm learning more. You know what I'm saying? Because it's not that we're putting it out as if we're this is the end all be all opinion and what we think. This is our opinion now, but if you have an opinion, we invite that in.
This is where y'all at.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's what I'm saying. It's like a conversation starter.
It's a conversation starter.
Hey, we're putting
so
it
we
out
can
there.
learn more, so we can get better and put that into more music. You know,
Right.
that's kind of
Right.
Yeah,
We all experience it, so like,
Why be silent about it?
yeah,
Right.
And why not? And what's the best way to connect to people who all experiencing other than music? You know.
yeah,
Well, this has been incredible, man.
Yeah. Expression till infinity, for real.
yeah.
For sure.
Respect to that.
Photo, y'all, and it's
Definitely
definitely
looking forward to
Going
people
11.
hearing this.
Oh, man.
Make a wish.